I see you watching, always near. Hit subscribe and let it steer. The ambition's calling, can't you feel? Unlike that vibe, it's the real deal. Join my crew, yeah, hit that green. Cool purse coming like a dream. Spread the love is what we do. Hop on out, be part of the few. Exclusive vids, your secret stash. Behind the scenes, all a flash, rolling deep with the members, fam. It's more than clicks, it's who I am. Join my crew, yeah, hit that green. Cool perks come in like a dream. Spread the love is what we do. Hop on out, be part of the few. Your name in lights, it's more than hype. Custom emojis fit the vibe. Recognition like never before. Be part of this, we bring the roar. Coming, popping with the flash. Special streams, meet me there. Memberships, ways to be lit. All I get on is this your fit. Lights go dark, the stream comes on. Javon's here, the vibe is strong. Click and clack, the steel in sight. Every edge sharp in Friday night.
Night flicks dance under the light. Blades that shine and cut so tight. Handles spin and edges glide. Friday night flicks worldwide.
The craft with steady flow. Steel and story you'll wanna know. Flick of the wrist, how smooth it goes. Every frame a master show.
Night flicks dance under the light. Blades that shine and cut so tight. Handles spin and edges glide. Friday night flicks worldwide. Karambit steel. Every flick has that cool appeal. The chat goes wild when he reveals a masterpiece you wish was real. Viewers locked and they can't resist. The flick of steel's a weekly twist. Carving moments, he makes it slick. Juve on streaming, doing the trick. The flick of steel's a weekly twist. Carving moments, he makes it slick. Juve on streaming, doing the trick. Worldwide.
And here is G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip. G.I. Joe has hands that grip. Fingers you hold open and let close. Hands that hold on with a Kung Fu Grip. The grip you help Joe use in self-defense. G.I. Joe with Kung Fu Grip. The hands that grip.
Remember, you help Joe in self-defense. What's up, people? Good to see everybody. Emerson Collector gifted a membership. Thank you, brother. And I know y'all hate this, but I've got to give some love. I'll try to keep the party. Thank you, Emerson Collector, aka, only in case you've gone incognito. Good to see everybody. I hope y'all can hear me. I am glad to be here. Stoked to be here to see you guys. We've got a special guest joining us here tonight. I'm going to run through and greet you guys. That's why I wanted to start a little early. We'll let people get in here, but I wanted to make sure that we gave Brother Scott plenty of time to talk about all the cool things going on, not only over at Aries, but outside of the Aries tent, so to speak. Inside the Aries tent, but expanding the tent. Neil McKenzie, council member, what is up, brother? We got Bam and Ninja was in the house earlier. My man, Marcos Gamma. We will talk tonight, brother. Don't forget. Please call me because I will forget. My brain will go marshy. I hope you're in here, man. Marco, what is up? Channel member, good to see you. Be Shady, what is up? Channel member, good to see you, my friend. We got Colby in the house. Colby, I hope you are well. Hope everybody had a good week. Addicted to Blades, Stu is in the house. Welcome, welcome. The man, the myth, the legend himself, Joe Isabella, who is always, who is always represented on the top-down view we're keep up there till at least our guest gets here. Who else we got in the house? There he is. Marcos Gamma is in the house. We got brother Paul Mills, channel member, good friend of mine in the channel. Paul, hope you're doing well, buddy. We've got let's see who else is sliding in here. Brian Cares in the house. Good to see you, Brian. Welcome, welcome. Y'all settle back. It should be a fun night. Should be a very interesting night. I know we've got something coming up later tonight that I'm very interested in to see if I'm doing it right. So that'll be cool. Richard Hopkins is in the house. What's up, Richard? Welcome, 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 channel member. Good to see you. Huge friend of the channel. Friend of mine, Homer Felites. What is going on, brother? Everybody saying hey to each other. That's what it's all about. That's the reason we hang out here. Jesse, good to see you, man. Welcome. Sorry to jump in here a little earlier. I just saw that I get it started, and when I see people in here, I figure I might as well get in. Maybe it'll give people that are guests more flexibility in getting in. I just always like to come in. Only Charlie, what is up? And I like to say hey to you guys and spend more time in the chat. And we got Emerson Collector, aka we recognize the killer logo there, who gifted a membership, and I do appreciate that, and hook somebody up. Whoever got that membership, and I saw somebody thanking him. Y'all stop in tomorrow at 11 o'clock. We do have a members only live that runs really short, right around an hour. We can go longer, but there's a lot of other people that go live on Saturday, and I never want to cut in anybody's schedule. I just want to do something extra for you guys, and I've got some stuff in the works for some extra member content. What is up, Greg Vanderlip? Welcome, welcome with a bunch of waves. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Richard, good to see you, my man. Good evening. Who have I missed? Crazy Roach has been a member for 14 months. Guys, you don't know how much that means to me that y'all support me that much. I appreciate it. We're doing it. I appreciate y'all so much. I have had some creative constipation, so I've got an interesting video tomorrow. Interested to see what you guys think. Kung Fu grip is the only survival grip you really need. I used to play with those things, guys. That was my generation. When I was like 9, 10 years old, my buddy, I'll just say Jay Davis, I won't totally dox him. We used to play with those things. We had the whole setups with the fire towers and the ropes where you could hook their Kung Fu grip on the rope and they would slide down it. It was epic kid shit. And then we go out, play, just crazy war games, Cowboys and Indians, and not think anything bad about it. But I'm glad to see you guys gathered here tonight. Like I said, it should be a cool night. I need to get Instagram pulled up. Give me 2 seconds. And I need to get one more website pulled up. Usually I have my websites pulled up. But as you guys know, if you've been around me long enough, and hopefully, as I can tell, most of you have, and those of you that haven't, welcome. I do have an atypical brain, and that I do get a little sidetracked or a lot sidetracked. I'm trying more and more to focus. And, it's an ongoing battle, but I do the best I can. So, Pocket Metal, what is up, brother? So we've got Pocket Metal. I've got you something heading your way if you got time later. I totally slipped it because I've been up with my dad. So what I did today, and I won't waste your time with this. Angry Tom Hat, what's up? But I'll give you a short Baron's Book Note version. So I went up to my dad's day before yesterday because I take care of him. And there was a tree that's leaning by his house because of the storm. And his house is about 15 feet from the neighbor's house. And you could tell if it blew much more, it was going to break free from the tree, the V that it was stuck in, and crash in that house. So I had to do emergency, track somebody down and do a right under 5K tree removal today. Or the dude, it was worth it. He was up in the air. But it was crazy. So I had a nuts day. But PM, I've got you a link coming. Good to see everybody. I'm glad you guys are in here. I hope y'all are looking forward to picking Scott's brain. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Aries EDC. I was first made aware of him through, of course, the community and his channel and seeing him on different people's groups, their lives. And then Manufacturing was nice enough to include me in a pass around because he knew I'd appreciate it of his knife, the Bloom. The Bloom is a fantastic knife. I loved it. And I don't know if you can see the knife that the cat in the picture's holding, but that is my little pedal that Brother Paul Mills. Now I knew I had it out here. That shows show prep. But this little guy right here, Paul was kind enough to get this made for me and sent to me. This is the smallest knife he makes. And you guys know, or may not know, I like little EDC knives. I like anything from about 6 to 7.5 inches and smaller, right? So I do like smaller, smaller little knives. And this is a great little knife. And Scott makes these, Aries EDC. But recently, he has had the opportunity, and I'm curious to learn more about it, but to work with, if I'm not mistaken, let me pull it up before I misquote the company. I'm typing, and I type with my math. There we go. So, Scott, as you guys might know, is a custom maker, and he can only make so many knives each week, right? Each month. I think he does a very good job at pacing himself and making sure he doesn't take on more than he can, but he's got a huge demand. And sometimes you want the design, you want the knife, and you want it in a more, affordable package that you can get with production runs. So he's joined forces with Kubey to do a run of the Bloom, the knife that I reviewed, the actual custom, his version of it's on my channel. I have not seen this Kubey in 14C, but I'm a huge fan of Kubey knives. Little 2.60 blade, under 3-inch handle, overall length of 5.5 inches. Guys, I'm excited and hope when he comes in, he can shed a little light on that, how that relationship came to be. Good to see you, Greg. And I think it's really cool. An Axe Gang hatchet. Gnarly Charlie, I don't have an axe crank. But I have a Nori neck axe, which most people don't have. And it's totally useless. I guess in case you're going to get in a Slurpee saving fight and you want to be able to defend have something a little harder than Nux, or you want to cut some volcana. But anyway, this is a little titanium D2 Midgard Messer axe. And what's interesting about this little thing, it's got a little metallic magnetic sheath that you can either wear on your belt or wear on your neck, right? Totally a novelty item. But if you go look at my shorts on my channel, this gets more views probably than any knife on my channel ever has. Hey, Angelo, channel member, what is up, brother? Good to see you guys. And y'all, any of you that are channel members, please stop by tomorrow at about 11:15. And then between 11:15 and 11:30, I'm doing something kind of cool with a little Jason Grant custom. And this little Nori neck axe, guys, is a winner. I've got another little tiny axe. This is my Odicle. Angelo gifted a membership. Somebody else picked up a membership. If you want to stop by tomorrow. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. But I picked this up from River's Edge Cutlery. I think it's made by Olight. It says it's Otical, and it's a little keychain axe. And again, it's not good for chopping anything, but it's really good into ripping into packages. It's good. I'll tell you what it's really good for is that plastic, what I call that death wrap. What do you call it? That shrink wrap stuff that's real hard plastic. That, like, when I was a dad, which I still am, but when I was a dad of a kid who had a lot of toys, every toy that came, you had to cut through that really hard plastic that was like press fit together. Brutal stuff, man. Brutal stuff. B Shady's been a member for 19 months. Dude, you don't know how much I appreciate that support. You guys really have no idea, because all I do is talk about knives. I'm by no means. I just enjoy them. I enjoy talking about them. And I'll always shoot straight with you with my opinions. Now, if you've seen my reviews from the beginning, I usually only try out stuff or seek out stuff that I like. Guys, I'm going to welcome a guest. You might know him as Aries EDC. You may know him as the Knife Making Wizard, who has live streams on, if I'm not mistaken, Friday mornings. I know him as Scott. Super cool guy. I'll let him talk to you. I'm going to pull this off the stage. What is up, buddy?
Hey, man. How's it going, Javon?
This is going great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
You sound great. You always do, though. You've got a pretty nice setup. I mean, you sound great when you do your sitting there in your apron and you're grinding stuff and still having a conversation. To me, that's amazing that y'all can do that.
Yeah. I got my little Bluetooth mic that is very helpful.
It is. I use a Bluetooth mic for my videos. I haven't tried to use it live yet because I just use my boom mic, but I don't have a good place to do sharpening videos, or, you know, I can do mod videos top down, but I just don't have a lot of height space where I am now. I don't have the flexibility, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the room for that setup that you have. But
it looks bigger than it is. It's actually the dining room of a little 3-bedroom house I live in. And what's funny is I live in one of the bedrooms. I've got a full another bedroom and a half. One set up for my daughter where Grateful Panic was for a little over a year, but she never comes down. She's 25 years old, lives in Nashville. But I could make a much bigger space, but I've gotten used to this little space in my dining room. I don't use it. It works fine. So when I up my game, I'll move it somewhere different.
Yeah,
you've got some exciting things happening.
It's been a crazy week.
How long? And I know I'm out of the loop some, because like right now for the last year or so, I've not been actively buying knives like I was before. I was a huge consumer. That's how I got into the love of the game. And then work situations changed. But how long have people known that you had a Bloom collaboration with Kubey? Had that been something you kept secret, or did you talk about it all along?
I had been talking about a production Bloom, but I never said who the company was. So I've been talking about it since October of last year, just because I shopped, I was shopping designs around to several companies, and Kubey was the first one to really jump on it, and they were interested in working with me on that design. Actually, they were interested in 3 designs, but I said, let's do the Bloom. And so I did tell everybody that there's something in the works, but it's going to be a while before something happens, because that's just how that
You had to probably
whole
go through a
process
prototype or two before you ever really released it, right? Or did you not? You had enough.
I
'Cause
have
you've done it.
I'll tell more about how that process went, because it was kind of just thrown in my lap. But I never said who the company was. I said maybe to a couple people, but it was kind of like hush hush, and I think everybody pretty much figured it out with the hints and things that I was throwing out there. But I never really said who I was working with. And it was through the holidays and everything else kind of slowed all that process down. This is my first design. It's a fixed blade, which maybe they're not as pushy to get out. So it took a lot longer than I thought it would, that's for sure. But I'm not a very patient person, especially when it
And
comes
you're
to
also
that.
very busy during this same time doing
Well,
what you've been doing for a few years.
yeah, I mean, with the making side of things, I that keeps me very busy, to say the least, especially lately. But
But you
yeah, and
plan so
then
well. I mean, I think a lot of makers could learn a lot from the strictness of your setting your boundaries for what you're willing to take on each and not
and
putting yourself in a tight. And I know
and
you're in a tight anyway.
well, yeah, I mean, and people have reached out to me and they get frustrated with the way that I do things, but I do it because I don't want to get overstretched, because I did that at one point last year. I just started opening the books every month, and it got to the point where I was getting backed up, and I had like all these projects going several different directions, and I got very frustrated, and I had to take a step back and say, this isn't working.
But
And
then making a partnership with someone like Kubey is the perfect remedy for a demand driven business and a design that's just to die for. That's the first of your designs I touched, and that's thanks to Mattisfaction. He reached out to me. That's the exact same knife that I reviewed.
yep, you had this one,
It
and
is a
this is the exact size of the Kubey Bloom. I pretty much measured it based off of everything, but it's that's the exact size of what the Kubey model will be.
yeah, we were
So
looking at these before you came on, and I was
yep,
looking at the sizes. And I assume these are the ready to go copies because they look like you can buy 3 versions right now and maybe
yep,
more.
those are live and they're ready to go. It's funny, the story behind it. I think it was
$80, guys.
last Monday or Tuesday, and if you guys are patient, in a couple weeks they'll be here in the United States, so the shipping won't be as high.
Long.
It is $35 shipping right now, which I know is a lot, but if you wait like a week or two, they're going to be in the United States. I've already been told that White Mountain Knives is going to have them as well.
I was going to say you'll have White
So
Mountain will probably have them. Blade HQ will probably have them.
so they're going to have them. But anyway, last Monday or Tuesday, I got an email from Kubey, the person that I was been communicating with, and he was like, "Hey, your project is done." And I'm the pedal.
Dude, the pedal's great. I'm sending it to Terry. The reason I showed him up there, I don't know if you know 1931 Leatherworks,
yeah,
but he's going to make a sheath for this little guy because he wants to start making sheaths for people who are asking him for your knives. And I said, I'll be happy to send it to you.
Yep, he
I
reached
just
out
haven't
to
because
me.
I did a video. It was in a video yesterday and or the day before.
Yep.
And I'm sending it out to him tomorrow.
Yeah, he reached out to me and was like, "Is it okay if I reach out to some people, because I would love to get a pocket slip for some of your knives?" And I was like, "Yeah, hey, go for it."
I've got
bro.
one of his slip joint slips up there. It's
Yeah.
under those 2 lights. Dude, the work is I'm excited to see what he can do.
Yep, me too.
I love a pocket dropper. And you had said earlier, and I won't cut you off. I'm bad about this because I've got squirrel brain and I'll forget. But that the manufacturers don't realize or aren't in a rush with fixed blades. I've learned something not in my finding and kind of falling in love with fixed blades, which is a fluke in its own, but in the amount of attention my videos on fixed blades get versus folders. There's no comparison. And the small fixed blades, there's huge demand for those right now. And I talked to you at Vosteed 3 years ago, 2022, and he handed me what is now the mink without a sheath, and said, "What do you think about this?" And I said, "Dude, I think it's a great knife." More people, I'm going to do a video. I've got to get my thoughts together on why an EDC fixed blade makes more sense in some cases than an EDC folder. And it doesn't always, but it sure as heck is never going to fold up on you. You don't have to worry about lock slip on any of these.
Mm-mm. And depending what you're cutting, that's what got me into it. Because I have my story on why I started carrying a fixed blade. But going back to the Kubey thing, the way that haul went, you know, it was the communication. It was lacking as far as like getting updates and stuff. But I'm very impatient, so I like to know when is it coming out because I'm excited about the process.
Were you dealing with the in between or someone directly at Kubey? And I won't interrupt again.
No, I've been emailing somebody direct to Kubey, their sales rep that was handling it. And, you know, he would every once in a while shoot me something or give me a brief update on where the project was. But he said, the project's done. I'm going to send you some pictures. And he sent that like not this Monday, last Monday. And I was like, fantastic. I can get some pictures. I can share it on my channel. I can share it with you guys, maybe get some interest involved before they go live on the website. And I knew I wasn't going to get anything in my hand before they dropped. That was obvious, which is fine. I think if you're doing folders, they're more likely to send it to you because there's a lot more involved with the action and everything else than
and most people doing folders, no offense to any of them or no disrespect, have not made the knives before. You've made the Bloom countless times. So when you sent them a working drawing, I'm thinking as a layman, you probably had much more specifics on what you were after versus someone like me who might have an idea for a folder. I don't, but hypothetically trying to get one made, not having it done. I'd want to see it before I released it. So
yeah, I had sent them a full 3-dimensional CAD drawing of what you basically are looking at on their site. Now they did reach out to me and they were like, we're going to do 14C and we're going to do G10 way in the beginning. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, is it possibility maybe we can do a micarta version? Because I really liked like the Kubey Dust Devil type of handles that they did.
Right.
And sure enough, on Tuesday of this week, I never received any pictures of these, just so you know.
That does not surprise me because it works one of two ways, and Kubey's the better of the two ways. The other two ways is they'll make the knife and you can't talk about it until next month.
Yeah,
I'll have 3 unnamed companies' knives and I can't show them, or I get a nasty Instagram call.
Yeah, which is fine, and I am perfectly happy not saying anything, and maybe that's why. But on Tuesday, I get a message from somebody in the community, and they were like, "Hey, I was just on Kubey and I saw your Bloom." And I was like, what? And so I went to Kubey.
It's got to be exciting, dude. I mean, congratulations.
I'm still in shock looking at that and seeing my name and my maker's mark on the blade. And it's pretty
your knife.
ridiculous.
It is your knife, and they saw enough value in it. And you're not a new maker, but you haven't been around forever.
I'm new to like the designing and the production world. That's like
there's a picture with your knives speak for themselves. I mean, I don't know of anyone who has experienced one who says this is not a fantastic EDC knife. And what people don't realize, or I think they're starting to realize, and maybe they always have, I'm late to the game, but an EDC fixed blade, this size knife is absolutely perfect. Not only as a backup carry, but as a primary carry. I like to fidget with my knives, so I carry one of these in my back pocket. Today I've got a
Yep.
small TKL on my hip.
Which those are amazing.
I've told Boss Steed, I told them they need to do a simple taco sheath. They do great sheaths. I told them you don't even need to put a clip on it. I know they get these probably a dime a dozen. I've got a drawer full of these, Scott.
I do too.
It's the first thing I take off. I said, just do a small belt or in the pocket clip.
Yep.
And I know they do it to mount on the belt, but when it gets down to a small knife, do it as a pocket dropper because people can put whatever they want to on it.
Yeah. I was
love the
happy
belt.
that they did a taco sheath because like on the Dust Devil, they didn't do a taco sheath. They did the 2-part sheath. But yeah, as soon as I get mine, because they're going to be sending me some, it's getting a loop because that's how I like to appendix carry on my front, and that's what I carry. And the Bloom is just, if you need to get into something with the tip, it's right there to get into something. It has a nice belly. It's perfect to cut whatever you need. And for me, in my daily tasks at the time that I was getting into fixed blades, I would carry folders, and I always had a folder. And then the things that I was cutting, I was gunking up my pivot all the time because I work in the pool industry. So I was opening bags of salt and
Chlorine and all that lovely stuff.
Chlorine, acid, bicarb, and like I was opening DE powder, and all that is very fine powder, and it was gunking up my pivots on all my folders. So I found myself taking apart my folders and cleaning them on a weekly basis. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I saw the CRKT Minimalist in a store, and that was my gateway to the fixed blade world.
I think I've had almost every minimalist. What a great introduction to a small fixed blade.
Yeah. And that's where, I've learned that lanyard can be an integral part of the handle for your pinky. And with just a little EDC fixie, I don't think you're doing tasks where you need something comfortable.
But let's face it, we're not going to go break down 30 Amazon boxes with our small EDC fixed blade. We've got our spider codes for that. We're going to use it to open dog food, cat food, blister packages.
Yep.
Packages.
You pull out your big folder to break down all the boxes, or a bigger fixed blade if you need it. But it's just something it's there. It's quick. It's easy. It'll cut for you. Throw it back in your pocket. You can pocket drop it with the Ulti clip, or your back pocket, or your belt. But for me, I want to carry something, and I almost want to forget I have it.
Right.
I can carry this on my belt, and I don't even know it's there. Nobody can see it with my shirt untucked.
Anything under 5 inches, my chickadees and this, I carry on my belt, right to the right of my belt buckle, and I don't know it's there. The Bloom for my frame, because I'm really small, it was just a little bit. I'd have to put it more on my hip, so I preferred it as a pocket dropper. I've become more of a fan of these deep concealment clips or concealment carry. They're from some holster company. They work like an Ulti clip, but they don't have that mechanical feature. They just lock in.
Okay.
They're great clips. But yeah, yours has got a killer thick leather strap on it, and it just carries perfectly.
Yeah.
I love it.
I try to send it with this strap.
It had that one on it.
Yeah. Which they work great. I have no issues with them. I have them on all of mine now. Like that one. So
yeah, they're perfect. And if you probably get them somewhere else, I get them from Amazon. I get the 2 packs, and they've got them in all colors. Yeah. And
it's the same company. They sell on Amazon, but it's knifekits.com or holstersmith.com, and they have a website, and you can, if you get them in bulk, buy them in bulk, you get a little cheaper rate than you can on Amazon, but it's $12 for like 2 of them. It's not a bad deal.
And you're making all your sheaths yourself, right?
Yep. I do everything in my knives except for the heat treating of stainless steel still.
And you said Peters does that, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Peters heat treat, and that I use them, just they're tried and true. I get a report. I just got back a batch. I'm gluing up some handles right now, but I get this little pink slip back, and this is basically your representation, and it gives you what your final hardness is. So 60 to 61 is the final hardness of.
You're not hiding from anything. Peters is I think a well-known, reputable company in the business, right?
Yeah.
And you can't ask for more than that.
And if you buy a stainless steel blade from me that I made, you'll get a copy of this with your knife. So, I mean, it's just, you know that it was done properly and heat treated to a great HRC for what it is. So,
absolutely.
But the Kubey Bloom is, I'm pinching myself with that one still.
I've got it up. I think the Ultim, and I used to not be an Ultim guy. I love my Carta, don't get me wrong, but something about the Ultim, I'm glad they did it in Ultim, and I'm sure they'll offer it eventually in more options, because I can guarantee you this knife is going to be successful.
That is my hope. That is
$80 for 14C in an EDC fixie is an absolute winner.
Yep.
I tried out knives like the Kaiser Beaver, the Hare. They're not Bloom knives. They're knives that are nice EDC knives, but they're made like a knife that's made by a company that makes knives more than that makes EDC fixed blades like you. Does that make any sense? I'm not trying to be disparaging against any other company because they make good knives.
Yeah.
But yours is special in that it's your design. And I think that'll show. And Kubey will see that. Because hey, they're well thought of and it's a great knife.
Yeah. I hope it's something that can build a better relationship with. And my hope is that they sell well. You know, if they sell well, they have already expressed interest in 2 other of my designs that are within the same realm of EDC fixed blades. And it would be cool to get those in production as well with Kubey. I think they do a good job and their stuff is done well. So, I mean,
and it opens up your designs to a market that might not be able to have the time or the patience to get one or the means right away, and they can get the same design made to standards that you set out for a good price. And I think that's important.
And I think it's also, there's a big distinction between that production version versus a custom version.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because you're getting those handle scales will probably, I'm assuming, be comfortable just based on the design of the knife. But when you're getting a custom and you're getting that all hand shaped and rounded and everything for your hand, it's going to feel a lot different than the production version. So I think
I can't imagine the amount of sanding passes you had to do on those handles to get them to be so smooth. And I mean, the way it matches the tang, it's just that is outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, you've watched some of the live streams that I do, and I'll start with a pretty aggressive
I watched
grip.
today. You had somebody in there with you. I didn't chat because I was
War Room EDC was hanging out with me today. He's cool. Yeah, he lives about 45 minutes away from me, and he came by, and so he likes to just come by and hang out. He also had to pick up his knife, which I made for him.
Which one did he get? Did he get a custom or one that you?
A custom. It was one of my Damascus builds that I did this year called the Spike. I don't know if you saw it with the black burlap and the red pins and red liners. I don't have it, but there's pictures on Instagram.
I think it's right here.
That one.
Hold on, because I remember we talked and you were doing the Damascus because you made that Damascus, right?
I did not make the Damascus. It's Alabama Damascus.
Is it this one right here?
No, that's the
Okay.
Crow. But if you scroll down, it's right there. That was the one that he just picked up. So
Now, what do you call that? The strength?
that-
Oh, it's Damascus spike.
that's the spike.
How many inches is it? It's about 6 or 7?
Yeah, 6.5 to 7. It's a full 4-finger grip, and the blade is right under 3, I believe.
I love a Warncliffe, and that is
Yep.
just gorgeous.
Yep, it's a good one. But yeah,
That's the one. Was that the one that kind of started it all for you, or the first one that you really just sent out for people to look at? I know you've been making them before then.
as far as fixed blades,
Right.
the first one, the first knife that I sent anybody to take a look at was one. It was a while ago. I sent KC a rock hopper. I have a rock hopper here, but this is kind of a special one that I made for myself. But it's that one.
Look at
And
that.
it was just I forgot the steel, but I think it was 80 CRV2 and it was a blue G10, that one. But this one is Damascus. And actually Jim Miller owns that rock hopper now that KC looked at a while ago.
Jim, I highlighted you earlier, buddy, to say hi while I was talking.
But yeah, that's the rock hopper, and that got sent to KC. And then I decided that I was going to be brave and make a knife specifically for a pass around, and that's where this knife came. And
Well-
you and all of you guys were very kind and got to experience that knife, and that kind of started. That kind of blew up everything.
Well, it's well deserved, dude. I mean, your work is as
AEB,
good
okay.
as any. The fact that you're always in doing live streams, I think what a great tool, even though it's probably a pain in the ass, because I would get, with my ADHD, it'd be hard for me to do both. But to be able to open up your shop, for lack of a better term, for somebody to see that there's differences in how people do things, right? And you're actually putting in the time, the effort, the craftsmanship that I think is huge.
Yep. I think that's kind of what the channel started, and it just kind of organically happened that I started sharing the how-tos, or not even the how-tos, of the more of being transparent about what I did.
Well, kind of
and
behind
what
the
I-
scenes, for lack of a better term, right?
Yeah, like you can literally follow a build from the start to finish within, a month's time of watching a knife get built. So if you do get on my books and you get a custom knife, you can actually sit there and not just with my lives, but also just within the long form videos that I put out, the process of the builds being done. And the live streams are fun. I enjoy doing the live streams. Can it be a pain in the ass? Yeah, because you got to move cameras around and get everybody into what you're looking at. And then I feel bad sometimes because I'll be sitting at the grinder for a while and not really interacting with the chat. But
You can't. You got to focus, and the chat knows that. What's amazing to me is the chat in yours. I watch very good knife companies, your lives, Shane's lives, and I'll sit in there, right? Because I've noticed that the chat doesn't move because people are just watching or soaking up the sounds, watching it happen, and they're not really looking for the same type of camaraderie that they do in these type of lives that are more just chatting, right?
no. Or they'll just chat with each other and have fun as a community, like they do, like we all do, making fun of each other or just having a conversation. And I'll be gone from the chat for like 10 minutes, and I'll come back and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. But it's fun. I enjoy it. I like opening my shop up to everybody and just seeing what I do. I've said it so many times. My channel is not a how-to channel. I don't do things the way they probably should be done or the way that they're best done the best way.
There's no best way. I don't
know.
think. I don't think there's a best knife and there's not a best way, right? I think we can probably agree that everybody has the way it works best for them.
Yeah, everybody has their own little process, and everybody has little tips and tricks to make things a little faster or easier, in quotes, you know, just make it a little easier for you. And I'm learning those things, and it's just about, okay, what new equipment can I buy, or new tool, or something to make the process go a little faster. But I think I have a good groove. There's some things I still want to get and add to the arsenal of stuff to speed processes, but
When you,
it's
as you
fun.
continue to grow, do you ever look at things like you've got Peters as a strategic partner? Have you ever thought about maybe having a strategic partner to water jet your blanks so that you're doing?
Already
See,
done.
I don't think there's any craftsmanship left or lost, I should say, in having a machine replicate something that you're still going to grind, right? To me, they're more consistent. You can nest the materials. The manufacturing is more lean, so it's going to be more efficient.
Yeah. This saves a couple hours worth of cutting it out and shaping it and drilling holes. So this is water jetted. This is
Per knife, a couple hours.
not per knife, but if I'm going to do a batch. So like,
Okay.
in January, I released all those blooms. I sold 6 blooms, or I made 6 blooms. They all started off as water jetted blanks. And that just saves me several hours of cutting the steel, shaping it, drilling the holes, and getting it prepped to basically this point.
And
but
does it not help with consistency too? Not the consistency. I mean, in terms of like,
I guess, like if I was to get like the scales done per specs of the holes, then yeah, I could just bolt scales on and just go the full, but I'm still doing custom handles and everything else on these. So it only saves with the cutting and shaping and drilling of the holes and getting it to this point.
right.
Because even when I water jet it, the edges are all crooked. They're not straight. So I still have work to do. I have to, get all of that squared off. I got to drill the holes out a little bit, and then I can start doing the bevels and everything else. So you're still getting a custom knife. It's just
Absolutely. And that's something that I might not know enough about it, but I would think if say the handles take you so many hours and it takes you this much hours to cut it out, the blade or the blank, if you had somebody that had a machine, and I know this is probably blasphemy to a lot of custom makers, but if someone could make you handles or make handles, and I don't know how Jacob does it at Very Good Knife Company, but he just seems to be able to spit them out. And I don't know how that's done. And it's not always, when I built stuff in the woodworking industry, it wasn't always the answer to buy a machine that was so expensive it was going to take your profit margin out, right? Sometimes it was just good to find somebody who could do that part of the job and do it consistently. That's beautiful.
You were just talking about Very Good Knife Company.
That's the Falcon, right?
This is I don't remember what the name of that one is, but it's the Tim School of Fish OEM'd by Very Good Knife Company model. But
Dude,
yeah, I mean, he does good handle work, excellent handle work, but it's fairly straightforward. Glue the handle on, round it, and you go. So,
and he shows you the 2 belts he uses, because that's one of the videos that I find the most fascinating, when he takes like a little cart of knives and he does all the handle finishing, and he goes through 2 belts, and then he'll, at the same time, he's beveling that little thing he does at the bottom under the choil that kind of makes it beveled off. I don't know if
that part.
Oh yeah. I forget what that one's called. I love that little guy.
The Mosquito.
Yeah. What do you think of that knife? 2-finger knife?
It's fun. I didn't know. Somebody, they know I like small fixies, and they're like, you got to check out this. And I saw pictures, and I was like, okay, but somebody sent this in for me to check out. And I was not expecting it to be that small.
And
'Cause that,
you know, being a maker, that making a small knife sometimes is hard, if not harder, than making a full size knife every bit, right?
yeah, that's tough. That's tough. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think of, I know he freehands a lot of stuff, so it's, yeah, that would
That
be
could turn
tough.
into a missile if you're not careful, I would think. I know that from talking to another buddy who makes knives who's had a few fly out of his hands.
Yeah, yeah. There's that. But yeah, I mean, you can go I guess it's called like the mid-tech route where you're getting the blanks done and then you're just doing the bevels and then you're
That's
buying handle
the word I was
scales
looking
and
for,
screwing
mid-tech.
them on. And I think that becomes a process of, but you're still at a custom, but you're kind of in between custom and production. So your price point might be a little less.
But if
Where,
you're not saving that money, it's not worth even going that route, because I would think that people would think the perception is it should be a little less.
yeah, you're saving time is what, and you're putting out extra money to get that stuff made. It's, yeah, I guess it's just all a matter of balancing out what are you going to charge versus taking the time to custom shape a handle out. But yeah.
Those are, I think I did either almost bought one or I reviewed one of those little knives, and they are for an inexpensive fixie. I always say if you're going to try out a fixie to see if it's going to work on your daily carry, start with something inexpensive. You know, as long as it's about the size of what you think you'd like. And like I did, I just fell in love with them. So, Scott,
Yep.
you seem to have scaled to this point. I mean, brilliantly. You've taken a way to not turn away orders, but keep your books managed. And now you've got a way to bring more knives to the masses. Do you intend on just continuing to scale out that way, or?
Yeah, I mean, the production, I'm hoping that Kubey will want to pick up the other two production models that I originally submitted. One of them is the Thorn, and one of them is the Rock Copper, which I just showed you. So the Thorn is that. So that's a Thorn.
Beautiful little knife. Is it about the size of, what is it, about 6 maybe? I always say 6, but to me it looks smaller than the Bloom.
No, it's actually a little bit overall. Yeah, about the same size as
I
the
got you.
Bloom.
Okay, it's just a
overall.
different. I got you. More of a
Just a completely different blade shape. And then the other one is the Rock Copper, and so that as a production, and then possibly the Thorn if they want to do it. I don't know if they still want to do it or not. I'm going to let this Bloom thing settle down and give that a couple weeks, and then I'll revisit what they want to do. And then as far as the custom, I'm just going to keep the pace on what I'm doing, and then if I decide I can get more time out and make some more stuff on the side, then I am set up to do a couple extra projects here and there.
Right.
I have a couple new models that are coming out that I've been working on. I'm in the middle of doing one now. It's being glued up, so I can't really show you, but it looks like that's the blank for it.
I love that tip. I love the way it has that sweeping kind of, what did you call that, a worn foot?
Yeah, nah, it's like just a little clip point, really.
Yeah, clip point, really. A
little Bowie. It's a bush. The model is called the Bush Hawk. It's just a Bowie style little fixie. It's based off of one that this bird and trout kind of model that I just did called the Hawk, and then I just kind of did a different blade shape on that. So it's just another style that I'm doing currently, and I have a couple other new stuff I want to do, but it's, 5 every other month. Every other month I open up the books for 5 spots, and then the next month I do kind of what I want to do. Whether it's a drop of 6 of one model, I'll do blooms or spikes or thorns, and I drop them out. And then the next month I'll open the books up again, get those custom orders, And if I'm doing the book spots, then I'm cutting and shaping and doing everything myself because I don't know what everybody's going to want.
Right.
And
They might
then,
want something more tapered or this, that, or the other.
yeah, so those are all full custom. I do everything myself on those. And then
Is that to balance out your mental not getting burned out on it, or just to kind of balance out the way it works financially, or both?
both, because if the monthly builds get backed up, or if I have too much on my plate, then the following month where I get to do kind of what I want to do, I can hold back.
You can scale it back a little bit.
There's no pressure for me to do that. It's kind of whatever I want to do. Like this is this month in April, March and April were a perfect example of that, where I opened my books up for March and I ended up doing 6 builds, and everybody picked stainless. So I had to send all the stainless out to get heat treated. And it takes sometimes 3 weeks for that to happen and to come back with shipping and everything else. Because I ship it to them, they do the job, they ship it back to me. USPS is horrible. So I don't know how long that's going to happen. So I went ahead and started April builds because I had literally had nothing to do as far as what to work on. So I went ahead and got a head start on April, and I actually ended up finishing April before the March builds all came back from heat treat. So you just saw the pictures of all the Damascus blades, which I have sitting next to me. Those were all supposed to be done in April, but because the March books went out, I went ahead and just did
but because
April.
you had that flexibility, I guess it kept you from getting bottlenecked as much as you would have had you been.
Yeah. And as long as, and I'm open and honest, if you get on my books, to let people know, hey, Peter still has it. Please be patient. They're going to get back. And I just got all those back, and I already have handles gluing up on 4 out of the 6 of them. So I'm trying to get them done before the middle of April so that all of those people can get their knives.
I think you nailed it though, Scott. As long as you communicate, you're going to have things happen that are out of your control, right? Yeah. And you feel bad enough when things are out of your control and they don't go great. But as long as you just are open and communicate, that's all any of us as consumers can hope for, right? Because a lot of times we don't get that.
I try to tell anybody who's new that or not familiar with my time frame, it's a 6 to 8 week turnaround. Plus, I have a group of knives that I'm working on. So I'll have them done by the end of April. So I don't have too much to worry about with that. But doing the every other month thing gives me that leeway to not be pressured on the back end, where I don't feel like, oh, I have to open up the books again and to do that. And people are like, you should take on, like, open the books for like 3 months and then get all these builds and then just tell people it's going to take time. And I'm like, well, my brain can't handle that. Like that's too much on my plate.
I can understand how that would feel overwhelming, even though I can see the person offering that advice is at 6.5 dozen the other. You just got more operating capital. No, I've got more stress and responsibility that I really can't bear right now, even though it's the same thing. I'm just planning it out on my terms, not yours.
Yep. I could probably fill the books for the rest of the year if I wanted to, but I don't want to think about December builds right now. I just give me 1 or 2 months at a time and I'm fine. But that's too much pressure, too much to remember. My ADHD brain will not understand that too much.
Well, however you're doing it, your work does not appear at all to be suffering, and you seem to be controlling your scale wonderfully. I mean, I don't hear people saying they can't get the knives. Now you've got this opportunity with Kubey, which I think just opens up a whole new market of people to your knives.
Yeah.
Which
is kind of scary at the same time.
You still control what you can do. You can only do what you can do, right?
Yeah, I can only do what I can do. I already know, I'm blessed because when I do open the books, they fill in just a few minutes. I dropped for the month of January February, I did blooms. So I did those 6 blooms in February.
Mhm.
And I did 4 of these package hatchets, these things I make called
I
package
saw 'em.
hatchets. I dropped 6 blooms and 4 package hatchets, and they all sold on the Etsy store within 3 minutes of me dropping. Um,
I'm glad you
I
said that, because that was going to be my next question. Congratulations for one on that. That just shows
yeah,
that the demand is there for whatever you make.
yeah.
Is Etsy your primary way that you foresee going to market? Is that, I mean, I know that if you can control the sale and distribution, you're going to benefit. I don't know. I've never worked with Etsy as a seller. I've worked with a lot of other sites as sellers, but does it make the most sense is
They
with the
they help
infrastructure?
they help with the credit card stuff where you have a very secure way of paying. They also help a little bit with the shipping because they kind of set it all up for me. I have to print the labels and pay for it through Etsy, but then it's all through Etsy. They provide me the label, I print it, slap it on the package, and off it goes.
Right.
They also provide tax information and everything else. So
It
I,
makes sense. That's
yeah,
all I was, as long as
it's
it makes
easy.
sense, it's
The
not going to
only
hurt your
other
sales.
the only other thing would be create my own website and then selling off my own personal website. But then you have to find somebody who could do the credit card stuff and is it really reliable and everything else. The last thing I want is to do something else.
Additional liability when you want to make knives and sell knives. So
And
Etsy's probably the perfect platform for you.
I use the Etsy for when I'm doing small drops. Like when I sold the blooms, I dropped them all on the Etsy store. It's a comfortable place for people to go. I've been approached to do other sites and other means to
I was going to ask, but I
put
won't
stuff.
mention them specifically, but I didn't know if margins
Yeah,
weren't as good, but know there are other
I've
sites out there.
yeah, they've reached out, and I've really thought hard about considering doing it. It's comparing. It's give or take. They both have pros and cons. But I've kind of already set up the Etsy thing and I'm comfortable with it. And everybody knows within the community where to go. And I've kind of have that fan base to do that. So I think I decided I'm just going to stick with the Etsy thing. And
For
then
now.
I'm just going to keep doing that.
Well, one thing to think about hypothetically, and you've probably already thought about this, but if you worked with a hypothetical company and you just dropped a couple of knives there, 3 knives, and they saw how quickly they sold, that company might want to buy like 50 knives from you. And that might be more than you ever want to take on.
Yeah,
I've seen them do it before. Or I've seen companies do that before, right?
Yeah,
That they've
I've
sold a
heard
few
it.
knives and they said, we want to do an exclusive. Whether it's a colorway or whether it's something like that. And then you get in a situation where you've got a pretty good sized retailer wanting to exclusively market your knives. That might not be where you want to be now. I don't know. It's another advantage of those other sites.
The problem as much as I would appreciate doing something along those lines, the demand would be, because this isn't my full-time thing. This is still a part-time thing, and
Sure.
my work schedule is going to be opening up a little bit, and I'm going to be dropping down to 3 days at my job, and I'm going to have 2 days off during the week to actually be able to do the more time at knives. But still, even with that, if I was to do a large batch for some store or a online marketing or online retailer, that would take up a lot of my time.
Right. And
And
that's not something to do now, maybe, but it's
no,
something that I think if you were to do that, it would be one case to where there'd be no reason not to have it funded in full before you start. And I know in most cases you're like, I don't ever want to do that, right? But when you're working with a big company like that, they're basically ordering those knives from you, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they're the ones that, and I know it's happened with production knives guys that I know and custom knives guys that I know. They pretty well can gauge the demand based on what they're seeing in their analytics to the web traffic, right? So if you put 3 knives over a month on there and they last X amount of days, but they see people are searching and coming to the site to find the archive listing, they're going, it's just something that you have in your pocket that is, and it's one site that we can talk offline that I'm thinking about specifically. And it's just good to have options when if you get to the point where you want to take on that type of expansion.
If it was, I don't know if I would agree to doing that right now. At this point in time.
Yeah.
Down the road. Yeah. I mean, hey,
future's always open. Keep it open, right?
I could definitely think about it long and hard and be like, okay, maybe 1 month I could just focus on making your large batch of knives for you. But anymore, I know that my limit is about 6 to 7 a month. And I really can't take on any more.
Well, maybe I framed that wrong, Scott, because I know others have taken on bigger runs. You hold all the cards in a situation where your demand has driven that communication, right? So they would probably be just as happy with 7 to 10 as they would be for a lot more. So even if it's not now, even if it's 2 years from now, I would never, and I don't think you ever would, you're too smart for that, to put yourself in a situation where you're going to feel overburdened. Keep it on the download.
Oh yeah, no, and I'm honest about that too. It's just, I'm not capable of producing that many and that big of a turnaround, and make it with the quality that I would support doing,
Right.
It's just
the main reason I
have a certain aesthetic that I like.
And I've got your Etsy store scrolling, and I send people to your Instagram because I feel like that's where people like to look at stuff. But I just want to know when I'm showing off your knives, where to send people, right?
Instagram is probably the best place to go look, because Etsy, there's only shirts on there right now.
Right. But they can reach out to you, and because when you do your direct orders, they're going directly between you and the customer. You don't have to run them through Etsy, or do you?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
If they're getting on the books, then I'm either communicating with them through email or messaging them on Instagram. So that's kind of how I use the communication part of that. So,
Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of exciting things going on, and
there's a lot of exciting things going on this year, because I have the Bloom is out, which is absolutely amazing.
Let me throw it up here for people who've come in after I showed it before. You keep talking. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm hoping that they'll pick up the other 2 fixed blades, and I'm actually, Javon, this is, I don't know if you're aware of it, but I have a folder in the works too.
I'm not aware of it, Scott, because I have been so out of the loop since I haven't been a consumer. Tell me about your folder. Do you want to talk about it, or is it just something?
We can talk about it because it's been talked about in other live streams with other content creators. There's a company from South Africa, Pickled Steel. They've been making little waves. I've been talking to the owner of the company since last year. It's been about a year since I've been chatting with him. It's a South African company. This is probably one of their more popular models, called the Warhog, D2 steel. And this knife, I believe, is around $60 on their website. Aluminum, micarta, bar lock, and the action is just amazing. So they're putting out really, really quality product. And at the time that the Aldo, who's the owner of this, and he'll come on to live streams like this and chat, and he's very transparent about his choices, how he does his business, etc. And I totally give respect to a knife company that's going to come out, be transparent, talk to people about what, and he's a knife guy. He is a to the bone knife guy. He saw one of my builds I did called the Gargoyle, and he was interested in that design, and he was like, "What do you think if we turned that into a folder?" And I was like, "Yeah, if that's something you want to do." And we agreed to some terms, and they've been in the design part of that for a couple months now, and I should maybe have something in that by the end of next week. I should have a picture to see what that looks like. So I'm excited about what the Gargoyle could be as a folder. It's pretty stinking cool.
Did you mind giving out the name of the company? Because I was going to tell you, if he ever wants to come on and talk about what he does.
Yeah,
I'm always
Pickled,
open to that.
Pickled Steel.
Pickled,
is the
like pickles, or tickled like haha.
like P with a P. Here, I'll show you.
Gotcha.
Hold on, I got a sticker.
I got it.
Pickled Steel. The only he's open. The only thing you have to take into consideration is the time change, because there is a huge time difference, obviously.
Is it a 12-hour difference? Because see, I go
like
live sometimes at 2 or 3 in the
6 to
morning.
8. It's like a 6 or 7 hour difference. So I don't know. Have you ever had Gareth pop in?
Yes. Yeah. Now he's in South Africa.
Yeah, Gareth is huge in the community, and he was the one who introduced me to Pickled Steel.
See, Tuesday nights I do my Insomniacs live, which starts at 10:15 Central, and it runs till sometimes I've run till 6 a.m. Central. I mean, we run a lot of times, so it's really 4 people across the pond. And I've never had guests on that were makers, but I would definitely accommodate somebody's schedule. I always hate to have people here and not be an audience for them to talk to.
So that's the Gargoyle. And so taking that design as a fixed blade and turning that into a folder is kind of the idea.
Going to be a flipper, thumb studs. Do you know yet? Hole?
I have allowed them to run with it because it was a project that he wanted to do. So I'm really interested to see what they come up with. What is that?
It's a hole. This is a Lamia, but I was hoping that I think a hole, because it looks like that's going to have a good bit of the blade exposed.
Yeah, I would love for it to have a hole. That's a beautiful knife. That's a beautiful knife.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite U.S. knife. I would say it's my favorite knife, but it's my favorite USA made knife. I've got a mini Aries, and I've got I've had and handled both an Oz Roosevelt and an Oz Roosevelt XL, both fantastic knives. But something about this little knife, the simplicity of it. This is a Friday the 13th drop that's just kind of got this distressed black tie. Very simple.
I love that. I like simple.
It's kind of, I call it understated elegance.
You see it in a lot of my designs, is that they're just very simple. And
as they really should be.
I kind of like it. Like that Bloom, it's a very simple design, straightforward. Maddie, what's going on? Straightforward design. That is it speaks, but
well, what's exciting about Pickled Steel, Scott, is that's a whole nother avenue that if you ever want to explore, you could explore. Because if they've found a knife that they'd like to make as a folder, and it does well, because it looks like they make a very good knife. I thought that was a Kaiser when you held it up at first.
Well, it's the designer of that is Johan Jourdain, and he had submitted this in something for Kaiser, and Kaiser passed on the design.
But the quality of the aluminum against the micarta with the wire clip, it just looks stunning. It doesn't look like and you said it was a $60 knife?
Yeah, it's like 60 some odd dollars on their website. It's D2 Steel, and Aldo, the owner, is big, but in Africa they have there's just a different climate. So D2 is and he's had he had somebody take one of his knives in D2 and they just stress test it and beat the ever crud out of that thing. And it was still sharp, still had an edge. And they're stone sharpening that. So yeah, there's the website.
Well, Kyle Coonley jumps on here. He's my sharpening steel expert, and he jumps on here in the evening, and he'll be one of the first to say that some of the Chinese D2 gave D2 a bad name.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the workers here, or the knife makers here, prefer D2, and if it's done right, it's a great steel.
Yep. Oh yeah. If heat treated, well, that's a lot of steels. If they're heat treated properly, are great steels. But when you're doing mass production models, sometimes one's going to get through the crack that might not get the greatest heat treat that others do. There it is. So the customs in this section are all amazing. The Capolavoro, and so he has some new designs coming out, but that's the Warhog. Is that in Rand, or it's that in US dollars?
US dollars.
Yeah.
It's got the dollar sign.
Was I correct with the price? I can't remember.
It's a little bit less. It's $56.94.
$56 for that knife.
And it comes with a pouch, and it looks.
Yep. $56 for that knife. It's, I don't know.
He's probably got a reason for using D2 over just the cost factor.
But he's been listening. He's been listening to us. So there's going to be a model of this coming out with 14C. And then some different handle materials. So a little bit higher end handle materials. And he's also likes to live in the budget world of knives. So a lot of his stuff, he likes to do the budget. Like this is one called the Freya. And it's D2 as well.
Is that FRN or is that GTN? I love the handle.
It's FRN. It's like $20-something on their site.
Dude, and for when I started my hike, I lived in budget knives, and I thought I had anything I ever needed in terms of action steel until I just got deeper in the hobby, like with anything else. Budget knives are fantastic tools if they're done right.
Absolutely. And that's where he likes to live. And he's open to, and he's listening to all the feedback, because he's just within the past year started to break into the US market. And he's been chatting and sending a bunch of knives over. You might know Kelly White. I don't know if she's in your chat a bunch. She's really involved.
I don't think I do.
She is like the US rep for him. She ships everything within the United States for Pickled Steel. So anyway, she's super involved in the community.
I hate that you're not feeling, dude. If you feel good, you pop in anytime. Not feeling the best. D2 costs considerably more than 14C, so there's benefit for him too. So that's beneficial.
Okay. I didn't know that.
But yeah, it's when you say break into the US market, do you sell, if you're a knife maker, do you sell them locally? Is there a market there locally, or do they sell to Europe first? Do they
they were selling in Africa.
Okay.
Like when I first caught wind of them, I asked you about the prices, because when I first went to their website like a year ago, all their prices were in Rand, which is the currency that they use in South Africa. So I was like, it was like 1,500 Rand, and I would have to convert that to US dollars. But now he swapped his website and everything over to US dollars. So he's getting more and more knives over to the United States. So, yeah. And the South African custom makers are just on another level. That's for sure.
I've met, and I'll say the name wrong, but I meet him at all the Nashville knife shows. Andre DeVille and his wife. Have you heard of him? ADV Tactical.
No.
He's a South African maker. He makes big, overbuilt type stuff. I mean, really overbuilt stuff. But the exchange rate, and what's the other guy who who makes a really nice knives. God, I might have to look it up, or I'll. Tri-State's a big fan. Lefty was a big fan.
In South Africa?
Yeah, South African maker who made flippers or front flippers.
I don't know.
I'm looking back here. Brand.
I'm blanking.
I'm blanking too. I'm not gonna kill myself unless I see it here. It was anyway. I'll drop that subject. But anyway, check this Bedford out. That's thick.
Yeah, look at that. That's
I love S35VN. I don't have a big problem with it. What's up, Fook Doozle? El Cap Addict, what is up? What is up, everybody? Say hey to Scott. We've been talking about and looking at the Kubey Bloom production coming out and looking at other Arnaud Bernard. Thank you, Sharp Obsession, who wins that award. It is Arnaud Bernard. Have you heard of his knives?
No. Now I have to look that up.
Yes. Let me show you. This is Chris Reeves, what I've heard action. And I don't think my local buddy has one. The iMamba is the one that I think's gotten the most US popularity. And it is.
Oh, wow. I think I saw somebody else put iMamba on there. Yeah, that thing is beautiful.
He makes them, and he has them with not all the holes. Let's find some of his other knives. Let's go.
Yeah, G-Ball. I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
I thought he had some thumb studs too, but yeah, beautiful, beautiful knives.
Yeah. And again, simple, clean.
Exactly.
You have to learn where to stop. I like that. That was beautiful.
I think there's a place for what I like. I agree with you. I like now a more functional design where I used to like more flashy designs. You know, it was kind of like what got me into knives back in high school was our little fantasy store where I would buy throwing stars and crazy, implements that I would never use. Right.
Yes. Yeah, so absolutely. Been there.
One of my favorite designers that is totally impractical is Todd Knife and Tool. I've got 3 Best Techs and 1 Wee Todd Knife and Tool knife. These are like steampunk. This is the last thing you would picture me carrying, but I love them.
That's all that matters.
Because they're ridiculous. I mean, look at this one, Scott.
And it's probably not very comfortable in the hand.
Oh no, it's got squares. But it's cool, right?
Oh, so yeah, no, it's definitely the cool factor is there
for that reason.
Definitely the cool.
I've got the utilitarian, but simple, understated elegance for me. Something like a Hinderer or a Chris Reeves or just a knife that feels good in the hand. TRM, if you like a small EDC knife. I'm a huge fan of TRM. The Shadow is one of the best.
Yep. I got that, and I have the small cousin.
I love the little nerd.
The holy nerd.
I've got a holy nerd, and I've got an OG nerd.
Oh, you've got the OG.
I've got a holy nerd in Magna Cut, and I've got an OG nerd in 20 CV. And what I'm carrying today in my pocket, in my left pocket. Have you ever seen this little guy? They don't make it anymore. I was a TRM fanboy.
No.
From the very start.
Oh, I saw pictures of it on their site at one point, but they don't make it anymore.
No, that's the TRM Atlas.
Yeah, the Atlas, but it's a slip joint.
It's a little slip joint. But what's weird about it is it's got 2 titanium frames, right? I don't know if you can see that, but they are actually 2 springs. So when I go to...
Yeah, I can see it lifting.
The springs lift on both sides. So then this is the half stop, which is not really half, but it's flat again. And then as you go ahead, you can see both sides of these titanium springs lift. I think it's just a really clean, cool knife.
That's
I got
fun.
it on a trade after they quit manufacturing it, quit making scales for it.
Yeah.
Because I would love to have some scales for it. I'm a
I've been
TRM
chatting,
junkie.
I've been chatting with Marianne over there because
she's wonderful.
We share the same last name.
Really?
I was emailing I was emailing them and I signed my last name, my name. I put my full name and I put Halpern. And she responded, Halpern? And I'm like, yeah, we're family. You didn't know that?
Lee's wonderful. She's wonderful. They're dog people. There's so many, they've done so many things, and I never, because they don't do it publicly, but they've done so many things for the short time that I've been in the community to help out people in need different ways. They're fantastic people. They're my favorite USA manufacturer.
Did you see their little fixie that they're going to be coming out?
I did. You know, I got a red line, but the little one that they showed off at Texas Blade Show,
that's going to be,
it's going to be amazing. And I'm also very excited about the frame lock Neutron.
Yep. I've heard good things. I've never had one of their knives and been like, meh. Their Neutron, I would love, the Neutron is a perfect size for me. I would love to have
and that's what's great about the Bulldog. It's the exact same size as the Neutron.
The Bulldog
is a little bit thicker.
I got to handle a Bulldog in the pass around, and the Bulldog is like the working version of a Neutron. Like it's the work. It's like the work knife version of the Neutron.
Right. If you wanted a little thicker blade stock, something a little bit more rugged lock than a liner lock, you're exactly right.
You got thicker handles, thicker. So where the Neutron, the Neutron is such thin blade stock like TRM is known for, and it's just a thin slicey blade, where that Bulldog would be a cool work knife, or more so a work knife. And that's
exactly. Guys, I'm dropping a link in the chat. And if I can get over here and pin it, I'm going to pin it. But this is where you can go right now. And for $80, again, they're going to be in the States. Like Scott said, they're going to be in the States probably in a week or two. Be Shady. I've been a TRM Nest collector forever. The only one, they had a knife before the Atlas that I didn't know. Marianne told me when I said, I think I've got the first knife. I've got a complete set. That's just beautiful. I've got mine.
Yeah. It took me 3 times to finally get on the drop on this one.
Well, the good thing or bad thing now,
they've gotten much better with it now.
Is things stay in stock longer.
Yeah. They're
you can
much
actually
better.
have a chance to get something.
But at the time I was trying to get this was when, like, I remember the first time I tried, I had it in my cart and I was putting in my information. And by the time I got all my information put in, boop, nope, not available.
They're gone.
Gone.
They're really good
better.
about. I've been able to talk to them beforehand and then meet them in Nashville when they had the Nashville show. That's where I've gotten 3 of my 5 TRMs that I bought. I got my Shadow from the knife show, and I got my Holy Nerd from the Nashville knife show, and I got my Atom.
Yeah. One day I'll get to a knife show and start meeting some of these people. And
you're in Florida, right? Or am I wrong? Florida?
Yeah. No, I'm in Florida. Yeah, Central Florida.
Central Florida? Well, hopefully we can get you up into Atlanta.
I can get to Atlanta in a couple a day's drive, but maybe, I don't know. Not this year, probably not this year.
And it doesn't have to be this year, but if you were going to have to choose one, that'd be the one to go to. And you're closest to it. I'm in Alabama, so I'm about a 4-hour drive. You're probably more like a 9-hour drive or an 8-hour drive.
It's like 7 to 8, but that's but that's the show, right?
That's the show. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. If I was going to choose one out of 3, I've never been to Texas and I've never been to West, but I've seen video of them. Atlanta's by far the biggest.
Yeah, Drew, it'll be fun chatting with Joe with Lancelot. That'll be fun.
Master Yoda's fantastic.
Yeah, I have him on the Makerspace with Meet the Maker. I've been doing my Sunday live streams, where I just do the Makerspace, and every other week I've been doing and kind of like an interview, sit down, chat with other makers. I've been inviting just makers on, trying to get people that I want to get more people that nobody's heard of. I had my buddy Corey Hawley, who's a custom knife maker, on, and he just does ridiculous work. And me and him are working on a collaboration project right now that is going to be pretty sick. But I want to get different. Like I had Donnie, I had Edgy, I had I've just had a bunch of people on, and now this will be my first leather worker, so that I'm excited about chatting about leather.
Well, we'll get Terry 1931 down there once he makes the sheath for that pedal, and y'all can check it out and talk about that, because I would get that slip out, but he makes beautiful stuff too. There's so many talented people in the community, and what I like about it, like what you said about your friend at what was it called, Pickled Steel, being willing to engage the community. You know, I think there's so much to be said for buying something that's from someone who you value their craftsmanship, right?
Yep. Yeah. When you
satisfaction, I am seeking in there almost every Wednesday night. That's typically, you're on about 5:30 when I do my power napping on the couch. I'm always in there. I'm usually not conscious, and I'm rarely communicating. But no, you're must-see TV.
Javon's always just kind of lurking.
I lurk because I'm usually doing something else, unless I'm going to, like said Stevie, I'll chat if I don't have a taco pass out, the honey bucket. And Maddie, it's just the time of the day because I'm up. Scott, I haven't recorded tomorrow's video. I've got 10 knives out over here. I'll record between this live and said faction, and then I'll upload it. Sometimes I don't get my videos up till 3 or 4, but I'm a night owl. Since I've got my corporate world shifted, my whole sleep patterns did a 180. I work at night and sleep during the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to stay ahead on my content. I have a bunch of knives sitting in front of me that I need to do reviews on, but I'm a couple days ahead. But it's the making content that takes me the longest, because I'm time lapsing stuff. I'm not just sitting and doing a knife review on a knife, one constant video.
You're making and having to think of scenes. You're having to think up scenes and then recreate them and stitch them together.
Yeah, I try to tell the story, and then I throw in the time lapse stuff and try to do music on top of the time lapse stuff. And
see, that's so far over my pay grade right now. I mean, I'm the most basic, excuse my language, the basic bitch reviewer. I call myself an overviewer. But I think if you want a really hardcore knife review, Stasser or somebody will cut up a bunch of shit for you, where I unfortunately will cut paper and open cat food. That's kind of the extent of my hard use.
Yeah. I mean, I do it because I enjoy it. Because I'm not really, my channel is growing slowly, which is fine. But, I work on those videos, and it takes days to put them all together. And then, I get maybe 100 and something views on it. And but I'm not complaining because I enjoy doing it.
The videos haven't been out there long. What you'll find is by putting out quality content like you're putting out content that's got shelf life survivability, where you could at any time be searched and enter the algorithm in a large way. So don't ever beat yourself up for making good content, and make it, you're kind of making it.
No.
When I did reviews, the reason I do them so simply is A, I'm technically limited, but B, it's the type of content I watch. And hopefully, like my disassembly videos rarely get 100 views, but hopefully somebody will be able to refer to it when they're searching on how to disassemble that knife, right?
Yeah,
if they ever want to put,
that's something everybody can go back to watch. No, I agree. And I'm not saying that in any way, shape, or form am I complaining about any of that, or because if I didn't enjoy it, I just wouldn't do it.
Right,
But
exactly. To me, it's a hobby. It
enjoy
keeps me out
doing
of
it.
therapy. Well, I am in therapy, but it makes my therapy sessions not as grueling.
Yeah, me too. And that's why I do my TNFNUs, because those are probably my least watched videos, but I enjoy doing that and just expressing how I feel, good, bad, ugly, indifferent, whatever it is. I do those for me more so than anybody else.
And that's the most authentic way to build a real audience, because people identify with what you're saying, not just the fact that you're doing something cliche.
Yep.
Right? There are different forms of content, and to me, that's more valuable content to know. And we
I
get off on
enjoy
this sometimes, but the other people, it's not all roses and sunshine everywhere every day. We try to put on that face.
Yep. Because I can be in a live and I know the people that really are hardcore and follow me and are like with everything that's going on. And if I'm in the shop working and somebody comes on and asks a question, normally people in the chat will answer it before I get a chance to answer it, because they know all the models, they know the steels, they know how I do my business, and so they're more than happy to be like, boom.
You've got a client base is also a fan base, and that's saying something, because they're not Fairweather Johnson fans. They're fans for the right reason. Because A, you're a likable guy, and B, you're extremely talented and you're transparent in what you do. So that's kind of the trifecta for what anyone looking for a knife maker, I would think, would want. That's why I think it's so exciting that you, of all people, have a relationship with an overseas maker to make affordable, readily available knives that hopefully will help you and help the community get exposed to you in a larger way.
Yep. That's why this Bloom project was such a thing. I was so excited to get it out, because it was frustrating because I see all these other companies coming out with these small fixed blades. And I know there's a market for small fixed blades. Like Civivi did, because the Bloom project was put in before the Baby Banter fixie came out.
Which is a worthless fixie, and I'm a Banter and Baby Banter fan. But for the same price, this knife is so much better. The Baby Banter's my favorite. It's my go-to comparison knife. But the fixed blade at $60, I couldn't pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
Even in Nitro V, I was just like,
I don't have one. But I saw that come out, and then some other companies were coming out. I think Kaiser did a small fixed blade, and a couple other companies did small fixed blades. And I was like, oh, it needs to come out. And I was trying to, maybe I was hassling them too much, but I was so excited about this, the what could be, because I
can never be too excited to be passionate about your brand and what you're bringing to Kubey and to the people. It's not you in a rush. It's, people are interested in it. G-Ball, I still need to talk to you, brother. That's my fault for not reaching out to you.
Emerson Collector, yes. Reptiles and knives, my two loves.
I was a leopard gecko guy. I had a couple of iguanas coming through college. Two rat snakes.
Yep. I used to
Asian
breed
scorpion.
rat snakes. I produced hundreds of corn snakes.
Oh, they're beautiful. They're beautiful animals. I mean, to me, and again, you got to get past the pinky mice and that whole thing, but I got over that,
If you
I had
can
a
get
buddy in
past what they
college who
eat,
had a big boa, or what were they called? Ball python. In his
that's what I have.
Table. He had a coffee table enclosure, and we would go out there and play rat bingo. So, like 6 of us would go out there, and we'd each have gone to the pet store and gotten a rat, and we'd food color a dot on it, and we'd put him in the table, and the last person standing, we'd sit there and drink, and you'd try to get the pot. There'd be like hundreds and hundreds of dollars changing hands out there, and then you'd rescue the final rat and set him loose in Lochapoka, Alabama. Google it; it exists. And there are many traumatized rats that live their days out there.
Yeah.
Hey,
no, I always did frozen thawed.
That's the best way to go. Do you have to get it? You have to get it warm though, right?
Yeah, I just warm them up in hot water.
Yeah,
and then I feed. I've done that. I used to have a ton of animals. This whole room used to be my reptile room, and it was just full of cages and stuff until
I
I
always
switched
wanted
it over.
bearded dragons, but could never at the
They're
time
fun.
afford. Yeah, I love my leopard geckos because I love
They're
feeding
fun.
them crickets. I love, they were one to get out. What's up, buddy? Dude, I hope everything's
They're
okay.
fun.
Shay Shay.
Edgy.
We were just talking about you in a good way, of course. Jim Miller's
Yeah.
15 minutes from Lochapoka. I lived, God, I wish I could remember the road. When you're coming down, is it 14? Right as you come into Lochapoka, you take a right. If you go up one more street, there used to be a little gas station there. But this was so many years ago, it probably looks totally different now.
Yeah, I really got into the morphs, like the really different color variations on snakes, and was breeding for a while and producing albinos and different genetic morphs and everything else. I have one on the channel. I've shared him a couple times. His name is Pixel. He's a ball python, but he has piebald. I don't know if you know what that is, but he's basically white, and then he has markings on him. But
Praying
he's just
for you, Shane.
white.
Dude, so you still got some pets? Some
Yeah, I've gotten rid of a lot of my stuff, but I still have 5 snakes and a lizard and a couple geckos in the house. But
what kind of lizard you got?
I have one blue tongue skink left, which are really cool, and then I have 2 crested geckos in the house. They're fun, and then
cool.
I have 2 sand boas, East African sand boas, and ball pythons. 3
and you
ball
feed
pythons.
them frozen food?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. See, that must be something new because it would have been the late 80s, early 90s, and I'd have to go to the pet store and get the pinkies or the regular size mice. And I had rat snakes. I had 2 rat snakes that lived together. And then we moved up to, and I won't keep us long, but I moved up to Mountain Rest, South Carolina with a fiance at the time. And we were there to fix up her dad's cabin. There were holes in the walls where bats could fly through. No electricity, no running water, just a ranky-dink cabin. So we had the snakes up there, and I put out those sticky pads to catch the mice that were running around, and then I'd pluck them off and feed them to the snakes. Woke up one morning, dude, there was like a 4.5-foot black rat snake stuck with the mouse in his mouth. So I had to free them both, and then I had to rehabilitate that black rat snake, and then all 3 of them were let loose up there in Mountain Rest, South Carolina.
Yes, El Cap. I have the tarantulas right over there too. But I
never had tarantulas, but the black Asian scorpion was a really cool animal.
Yeah, I have so I have 2. It's really not mine; they're my wife's. 2 tarantulas and an emperor scorpion, which is
the same thing, right?
Black forest scorpion. Yeah, the big black forest with the giant.
They like crickets.
Yep, they eat crickets. They eat bugs, but
they gobble down bugs. Do you let your geckos out, or they stay caged?
The geckos, those crested geckos, they're a little jumpy, so I just keep them. Because we have cats too, so the last thing I need is them running free and the cats get a hold of one of them. So.
Yeah, that could be hairy. That'd be like the perfect Amazon toy that hadn't been invented yet.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No, sir.
But yeah, it's been a heck of a ride.
Well, dude, I'm excited for you. I think there's a lot of good coming your way, and as has been, and you're putting a lot of good stuff out.
Yep. And I'm going to be dropping a bunch of stuff probably Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. I have all the Damascus builds that
you post pictures on Etsy before you drop them on, or you post pictures on Instagram before you drop them, or do you not always?
I'll post a video, or I'll post something in my community here on YouTube, and I'll post all the information on Instagram when those things are going to be available and the prices and everything and where to go. But yeah, so like that one coming.
All right, guys, I know most of y'all are subscribed, but we're going to have a subscribe to Aries EDC so y'all get notified when these drops happen. I'm going to drop it in here.
You've seen it once. Nice, Edgy.
Yeah, once they get out, dude, and I've seen them. I've had them show up before and seen them and then not seen them again. Yeah, I like tarantulas. I was never scared of them because they're not as jumpy. I never handled my Asian scorpion.
No.
And I also had White's tree frogs. Do you remember them?
Yeah.
And I had a Pac-Man frog that grew from this size to about this size.
Yep. They get like dinner plate size. They get huge.
And when I was in college, I had the cichlid aquariums, like 55-gallon with Oscars and other cichlids in them.
Same thing. I had Oscars and cichlids and all that kind of stuff. Turtles.
Yeah,
I've had turtles. I've had everything. Everything.
Critters are good, man. Critters
I've always had critters. Bigger. It's a lot of damn work, though. That's why
they are, but they're labors of love. Even if they're reptiles or, they're great.
Yep.
And they're fascinating to watch, in my opinion. Whether it's a fish or whether it's snakes, I love watching snakes do their thing. That's why I loved giving them when they got to be the size where they could eat the juvenile mice. As horrible as that sounds.
Because I like pulling out something that people don't understand and then sharing, like that one snake I was telling you about with the white. I'll pull it out and people are like, "Wait, is that real?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's a real snake."
Have you seen this freaking let me find this thing. Hold on. What's it called? Have you seen a mantis shrimp?
Yeah. And they'll
Dude,
hit very,
these things are brutal.
Yep.
These things are brutal. So I'm going to share this. I always share something gross, something violent. YouTube terms of service. This isn't really violent.
No.
But check this badass critter.
It's how they eat.
Boom.
But did you?
Oh my God! He broke him open.
This animal's blow is as fast as the speed of a .22 caliber bullet.
Watch this.
And as that wasn't enough,
glass.
It has the strongest blow of any animal in the world.
It creates a bubble.
Strong and fast. It generates bubbles with a temperature similar to the surface of the sun, evaporating the water around it. That is why, with every blow, bubbles come out.
And I'll get copyright struck for that, but I don't care because it's so cool. But those mantis shrimp, they'll drop big crabs down in there and they'll come out and with just like laser precision, knock off one claw and then knock off the other one and then just have their way with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Edgy. They're fascinating, dude. And I'll tell you what else has been feeling my feed are what are they called? Kestrel falcons.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those things take out birds flying? And birds on the ground. I mean, they're just
the fastest animal on the planet when they dive. The peregrine falcon.
Yeah. That's what it's called.
Just boom.
I think I had some of my history worth getting a strike because this guy, I mean, was taking out owls, hawks, things 3 times its size.
Yep.
And just knocking them down. Well, buddy, what else you got to share with these lovely people?
Nah, I just have
you hanging out as long as you are.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm good. It's Friday. I'm gonna sleep in tomorrow. So I have the crow. This is one of the ones that's gonna drop early next week, sometime, probably Wednesday, probably mid next week, I guess. But desert ironwood, turquoise, micarta inlays there. So I got that with the Alabama Damascus steel. So I got that one. The nice sheath for it. The Cardinal XL.
Dude.
So that's the gorgeous. Juniper green micarta.
Like micarta, and what's it up against?
And this is Juma Gem. It's called Juma Gem. It's like a stone resin mixture. It's dyed green, so I have that with the white pins and G10 spacer, white liners on it. But there's that one. I'm laughing because Paul might always will say Juma Gem in any of my videos. If I say this material, he'll always be like Juma Gem, Juma Gem. But yeah, really beautiful stuff.
Dude,
so I got that one.
It's gorgeous. What's up, Blimmy?
With the nice sheath. And then got this guy.
I love it.
This has the mixed
little handle.
mixed kyanite on it. It's like a pearl white kyanite and a brown. I did the bead for it. But
beautiful.
Yep, that Damascus. Why is that not showing? The Damascus came out pretty good on that one. There it is. Boom. So I got the Damascus on that one. And then the last one that's going to be dropping is the Creep, which is just a little neck knife. Skeletonized neck knife.
Oh, nice.
But yeah.
Have you thought about, I guess this would be a pain in the ass to make little scales that somebody could buy, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be worth the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more involved with that process than you think. But yeah, so that's just a little skeletonized little neck knife I call the Creep. And so that one will be fun. So I have those coming out probably midweek. And then I'm in the middle of all the March books, getting all those customs done. I got them all 4 glued up right here, so I can't really touch them. But Jim,
and if y'all follow Aries, you'll know exactly when those things are dropping.
Jim Miller.
Zach, welcome, brother. Zach Stuff.
What's up, Zach?
The myth, legend. Zach's here just to catch some aerial violence, YouTube terms of service. Let's take a quick gander.
Oh, there you go. That birds of prey are amazing.
They are the coolest. Drop it for his buddy. Look at him playing cat. I thought he was attacking a bird. No,
I've seen him take things out of the midair, and it's violent.
Oh yeah, that's what's amazing. Like this one here, where he gets a pelican. Let's see if it showed it. Hold on.
Oh, pelican.
Oh yeah. See if that. It's not. Let me stop sharing. Oh, there it is. Stop sharing. And share. It must have been on Instagram today where I had my where are my shorts? Here we go. Where I had it in my feed where it showed them getting a bunch of animals. Like it just comes by and it just hits it with so much speed.
Oh, jeez. That's so funny because that pelican is so much bigger.
Yeah, but it puts the net lock on it, dude. Dang it. It went away. And I would show, I'm going to go ahead and show this big one. Oh, let's watch this guy. And then we won't watch him over. This guy's going to scoop dive.
Oh, this is the peregrine falcon when they dive like that?
Faster than...
Yep.
But what's amazing is he's got his eye on something.
Yep.
It's not going to short get it.
Yeah. Boom.
Get it. Super slow mo. That's not going to show.
How many times?
Oh. Dude, that's Mother Nature at its finest. I know that kind of gets off the subject, but I find that shit amazing.
You can't mess with Mother Nature. That is for sure.
No, you can't fool Mother Nature.
No. You can't control Mother Nature. You can't mess with Mother Nature. And whenever you think you have it figured out, you don't.
Nope. That's a fact, Jack.
You don't. That is for sure.
A fact, Jack.
It's the uncontrollable factor.
Yeah, Reggie, I do too. Of the animal kind. Some of it I don't like. What I love is, and I always get struck for this, but there's this video of a cheetah down by the water getting water, and this alligator comes out, or a crocodile, and grabs it and pulls it in the water, and you see this struggle, and out comes a cheetah with the freaking alligator, dude.
What?
Somehow
That's
underwater.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I got to show it now. Because usually,
that's actually surprising.
Yeah, because the alligator had the advantage.
Yeah, you would think.
But somehow the cheetah got turned around. Was
it a cheetah or a leopard?
It's a. Let's see if this is it. Hold on. I won't make y'all see it unless I make.
We can't do human savagery, Edgy. We might get pulled off YouTube for human savagery.
This is it right here. Let me stop it. Stopped. All right, let me share it.
Yeah, Komodo dragons are rough.
Hey, and you've got cats. And
I have cats.
Edgy's met my cat, Tippy, so this should be a no surprise.
Oh,
Cheetah cautiously drinks at the riverbank. Every muscle tense, but not tense enough.
Uh-oh,
Suddenly,
this is not the
an
one.
African alligator strikes, lightning fast. It grabs
oh yeah, there was more than one there.
dragging
That's not good for that cat.
Yeah, that's not the one. There's let's go. Cheetah wins. This is it right here.
Big cat. That would be so cool.
That's not a good one. Maybe it is this big one. This is the one. And yes, I'll see ads too.
Leotards for cougars? What?
I think this is it. Let's. Never mind. I can't find the one I want.
That's
but
okay.
anyway, there's tons of them where the cheetahs come off the bank and grab the alligators. But this one, the alligator grabs the cheetah, and somehow the cheetah swings around and gets him on his neck. Cayman. Is that what it is? Leopard and cayman? Let me put
Leopard and yeah. See, now I believe the leopards and the cayman because the leopards actually eat the cayman in South America. Nice, Dr.
Jaguar
Drew.
attacks a cayman. This might be it right here. This might be it. I know y'all are just bored to tears, but hey, we always go off on these tangents.
I can go grab Pixel and show off the snake if you want.
Oh, I'd love to see. Check this guy
You want
out
me
right
to see
here.
it? I'll get it.
Yeah, get
I'll-
Pixel.
I'll go grab him.
Hashtag
wow.
winning.
Yeah, he came out with them. That's crazy.
Yeah, just jumped off some. And so who's that you got? Pixel?
That's Pixel.
Oh, and you bred him to have those colors?
Yeah.
Oh, man. He or she is beautiful. Is it a she?
Yeah, it's a male. But, yep.
And you said it's a ball?
It's a ball python.
Yeah, they're so docile. They're the greatest snakes.
Yeah. He is active at night, so he's a little bit more active right now.
Ted
But,
Stevie. He's a
Yeah.
beauty, dude.
yep.
How young is he? He a few years old?
He's just a couple of years.
Dude, he just snapped back.
Yeah, nah. It's the lights and stuff, but he's good.
Just beautiful. You know what we need to do? You're in Florida. We need to take a trip down to the Everglades and catch pythons.
Catch some berms.
Have you seen those guys down there catching them?
Yeah.
There's
I've
a
seen
dude on
'em.
YouTube that's amazing. He'll go out and he'll grab all kinds of snakes and stuff at night. His whole YouTube channel's him with a little light on his head, and he's out in the Everglades catching shit.
Oh yeah.
I'm
I
like,
mean,
dude, I could think of 1,000 channels I'd rather do.
yeah, that's a lot of work. That's
It
a lot of
is.
sweat, a lot of mosquitoes,
A lot of
that's a lot of mess right
a
there.
lot of risk
Yeah.
because
You
there are a lot of
chasing
water
birds.
moccasins and stuff he sees down there.
You're gonna find more than just those berms, but yeah. But,
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Cheetahs live in dry grass, crocodiles live in salt water. Yeah.
I get them all. I get them all
Well,
confused.
Not all, some crocs they can live in fresh water too. Brackish water, but because the Nile crocs live in the rivers of Africa.
I got it. I found it, dude. I sent it to my mom. I'm
You
sorry.
sent
This is
it
going to
to
freak
your
y'all
mom.
out. This is back to what we were talking about earlier.
Oh. Oh. Jeez. Ah.
Instant. I mean, it's just instant. You're done. Look, it just knocks the guts out of it.
Yep. Just boom, dead.
I mean, much bigger birds they get.
Yeah. Another falcon. That's crazy. That's crazy. Let me go
Dude.
put him back.
Yeah, I think birds of prey are the way to go.
That's cool. Crazy stuff.
Here's the last crazy stuff picture. It will say, look at this one.
You see, that's a leopard.
The leopard and a panther at the zoo. I sent my mom this animal shit. Check this guy out. How badass is that?
Yeah. That's so funny.
Dude, they're great.
Yeah, that's animal stuff is fun.
And these guys right here, I'm sure I'll get strict. Can you see? Let's see if it's still on that. Yeah. These guys are,
those guys are crazy.
And this is like the world champion. I think blue tick healer is what he's called.
Yeah.
His owner's like in the dust. The dog has to wait for the owner. And the dog knows where he's going. He looks back like, come on, slowpoke. Just took that simple command. It was like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Watch this jump. I mean, I've had a lot of dogs. I love dogs, but my dogs have been dumb.
They're not doing that.
No. Now one of them would catch a frisbee, but and that was, we felt like an act of just amazing feat.
You were like, yes, you got it.
Exactly. Well, since he was a little guy, it was a toy poodle that didn't know he was a toy poodle.
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
most little dogs don't know.
Yeah, and they'll get you in trouble if you walk them on greenways. I learned that the hard way. They have no fear of other dogs, and it puts you as a dog owner in a very precarious situation.
Yeah. Yep.
Of about to get your dog. Let's go to Stead Faction. I always forget when they start. I
don't remember. Usually I'm done by now. So
well, you get up so early. I saw you. Let's see.
I'm up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning usually.
Yeah, I must have texted you last night after you went to bed because I got your email. I was up when you emailed me back.
Yeah. I
Maddie,
try not
in
to.
about an hour. Thank you. Is it on your channel or Stevie's? I'll put it up here.
I
couldn't find it.
Maddie's channel.
All right. Maddie Live.
It's Maddie's.
Yep. I got it. And everybody knows where it is.
Yep.
So after we leave here, we will go to Dead Faction.
Yep. It'll be cool.
You know, they're great dogs, edgy, and I know these dogs are allegedly a pain in the ass, but I think French bulldogs are beautiful little dogs too.
You got to get the ones that don't have the such squished face.
Yeah, I don't know enough about them, and I'll never have one because I'm a rescue dog guy. If I get a dog, it'll be a dog that needs a home. It finds me, or I find him at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
buddy, I appreciate you coming on. You're welcome to stay as long as you want, but I know your time's valuable. And guys, does anybody have any questions about Aries, what they've got going on?
I can ask anything The Peregrine Falcons were the ones that go really fast.
Yes, I think they have like, I forget if it's 92 miles per hour. They've got some. That's true. But little dogs like little Jack Russells, even though they're a lot of work, small dogs are definitely more maintenance than a big dog. What's your social security number and mother's maiden name?
I'll message you later, Maddie. I can tell you my mother's maiden name, but she's passed, so I won't help you. Sweet.
Rotties are great dogs, though. They can be big lap dogs.
Yeah.
200 miles in a dive. That's a lot different than 93.
Yeah.
That's eyeball peeling back.
Not for them.
Craig, and they probably got along fantastically, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. Usually that's how it works. And the smaller dog is always the boss.
Well, interestingly that you say that, Tippy, my cat, was feral when my ex-wife adopted her. She was like, I don't know, 7 months old. No, 7 weeks old. And she stayed in the laundry room for the longest time because we had other animals in the house, a German Shepherd, a toy poodle, and another cat. And the German Shepherd would lay by the laundry room door, quit sleeping with us. We didn't know why. And it was making friends with that little cat. So when that little cat, Tippy, came out, the German Shepherd passed away last year of old age. But when the Tippy came out, they were best friends. Tippy would only eat dog food out of her bowl, slept with her like it was her mother. I'm trying to find a picture of the two of them together in my iCloud, and it's not easy to do. I've got too much stuff in here.
Richard, the next drop will be probably Tuesday or Wednesday, and that's going to be all the Damascus knives. And then in June, I will be doing spikes. So I'll be doing a batch of these, 3 in stainless, 3 in non-stainless. So that's what the next big kind of drop will be.
That's killer.
I hope. That's the plan anyway, unless something else happens. But as of right now.
There's Ashley and Tippy.
Yes.
Ashley's gone to dog heaven, but Tippy's still hanging out. There she is.
Yeah, we have a tuxedo kitty.
Tuxedo kitty?
A black and a tuxedo. A black with a thumb. With the extra toes, a Hemingway
right,
cat.
She's got that opposing thumb, so she can get into the cabinet. You have to child-proof your house.
She's ridiculous. She's not smart enough to do that cat, but she can if she wanted to. But we got nothing. But we've always had cats. My wife has always had cats, but these two, I have woods that behind my house, and these two came out of the woods. Declawed, tag. I think I told you before that they came to us in the woods. Somebody dumped them or released them. No claws. They had been declawed, and they were just out in the woods. No way
and
to
they just
defend
needed
themselves.
A place. They chose you guys. It was a match made in heaven.
Yeah, I got a message from my wife and pictures of these while I was at work, and I'm like, well, I guess we got 2 more cats because she can't say no.
I keep a little cat food on my porch and water because I'll have a couple of neighborhood cats that come by that are strays, and then I've got possums that'll come up and raccoons every now and then. I kind of keep it out there as a little zoo, and then I've got this one gangster cat, Cheeto, who lives down the street. He's like 3 times Tippy size, and comes by, and I'll be sitting on the couch, and he'll stand up on his back legs and pluck the screen of the window. Want me to come out and feed him. And I'm like, dude, you don't live here.
That's
always hook him up.
That's what you think.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Boston Terriers are great dogs. We used to have house sit a little one named Boo. Funny story there. My ex-wife, when she was my girlfriend, Boo had a invisible fence around his house. So Boo would never leave the yard because Boo wore the shock collar. Well, my ex took him to the store, and didn't know he had a shock collar on. So she backs out the driveway, and Boo goes batshit crazy now because it starts beeping first, right? So he knows he's about to get lit up, and she's just blindly backing up. And so what does she do? She throws on the brakes and drives forward and shocks him again.
Oh no.
He got double shocked, and he thought he was taking a ride.
Oh, that's horrible.
They're great little dogs, though. He was a winner.
That's funny. That poor dog. Yeah.
Yeah, it was tough. Got to be the point. Angela O'Brien, the mother of the dog that we house sit for, said we ruined him because she would watch him. He had other dogs that he liked to hang out with in the neighborhood. He was kind of studly, and she'd watch him in the front yard, stand about 10 feet from his fence, and then get into the beep zone, and it'd start beeping, and he'd put his head down and scratch off a couple of times and just go for it. She said he'd break the barrier and he'd shake for just a little bit, and then he'd straighten out and go hang out with his friends. She'd have to get in the car and go get him.
That's great.
She realized, Cindy made him realize that it wouldn't blow his head off. Yeah, thanks for the likes, guys. I appreciate all y'all hanging out. I always have fun with y'all. And again, members, don't forget, stop by tomorrow at 11 o'clock. It will be worth it.
Yep.
Cool stuff happening.
Yep. Well, all right. Hey, Javon, I'm fading fast, but
have a great night, Scott. And thanks for spending so much time with me, buddy. I appreciate you.
This is fun.
And we'll get the Kubey word out. And
thank you. Thank you very much.
Good luck, my friend.
I'm super excited about that. It's still surreal for me that it's actually happening, but
it's happened.
It's happening.
I guarantee you they're getting numbers right now of knives that are selling.
I wish I knew. I have no idea.
Well, when they hit the States, you'll know, buddy.
Yeah, once I get to the States, I know White Mountain Knives.
The Ultim's my favorite.
Justin in White Mountain Knives told me in a couple weeks he would have them. So I know they'll be available there. And then the Kubey's warehouse here in the States should have them, and the price of shipping will drastically go down. So
that's
you guys can get those for cheaper. I know that there's a couple of content creators that have like 20% off at Kubey. I know Casey has a code and it'll get you 20% off. It ends up being $100 with shipping. So
that's
not bad from there. But anyway, Javon, thank you.
Scott, thank you, buddy. Have a good night, my friend.
Yeah, you too. And thank you everybody for all the support that you guys give. It's amazing. So
hey, appreciate you sharing cool stuff with the community, my friend.
Yeah, man. I'll keep doing it. So thank you.
Love you, dude.
Bye.
Later. Well, that was cool, guys. Got to visit with Scott and see what's going on. Let's bring my knives back up there. They're not as cool as his knives. This is a very cool knife. And then I wish I didn't have my lights here, because this little pedal, this little Aries EDC has glow G10 and glow carbon fiber, and it looks absolutely sick in the dark. Take care, Nolly Charlie. We're only going to be in here for a little while longer. Yeah, house cats are brutal. Now, luckily, mine has passed the age of her hunting. She doesn't hunt birds. I'll leave it at that. She will from time to time get a chipmunk, but I try to keep her in. And nature's cruel, man. Nature is cruel. But guys, what is everybody carrying in their pockets? I'm carrying in my pocket the Strider S&G, and I just ordered a clip for my ProTech S&G today. And I'm carrying the TKL DP1. Hey, Stephen Clayton Jr. A fantastic little knife. Perfect for my size knife. And then I'm carrying my TRM Atlas slip joint, which is kind of a unique slip joint. Got a clip. Very cool. Very cool. What's everybody carrying? Maroney, hey. Ooh, 1.3 billion to 4 billion. That's brutal. That's genocide. That's true. They do. They'll shake the fur out of them. What else cool do I have that I can show you guys? I know there was, let's see here. Let me look at my list. Are y'all familiar with the Maronis? Member for 20 months. Dude, thank you. Carrie today, Finch Stray Dog with Fat Carbon. What a beautiful knife. And thank you for your continued. I appreciate you, dude. I used to, and I still have a ton of Finches. I've not bought them lately, but the Stray Dog looks like I love the shape of that blade. Sage 5 and the bug out today, says Paul Mills. Paul, I hope you're liking that Sage 5, buddy. That's a great knife. Before you get rid of it, if you still decide to get rid of it, talk to me about trading it. Let me get that. Carried the Civivi Cogent today. Very nice. That was one of my favorites. That's a button lock, right? I had a Cogent I gave away one night. That was a really good knife. You know, I've never had, that I can think of, a bad Civivi or a bad Kaiser. I've had some I didn't like as well as others, some that didn't have detent as well as other. Great, Paul. I mean, it's an excellent knife, dude. And I think you'll love that steel. I'll tell you. Where is it? I think I told you guys, I bought this knife. One of the first Spydercos I bought. This is the Blurple S110V. And I've never sharpened this knife. And it is still, keep in mind, for years, or a year, this is the only knife I carry. Before I really got in the game. Now, it's in need of sharpening. It could use a sharpening. It's not as sharp as it was. But I don't want to sharpen it that much because it, for me, doesn't need it. Because it murders cardboard. And that's usually what I use for this. I want to get a set of scales for it. I've got rock scales for my other two. The button lock, nice. Craig carried his Cold Steel 3.5 Frenzy along with 7 other Cold Steels. You can't have too many Cold Steels. Edgy carried his Cara Hawk again today. His Manic should be back tomorrow. Nice. I've had mail on hold just stuck in Georgia for like, I don't know, over a week. Richard's carrying the Vosteed Porcupine. Great night. And Emerson Collector just tried the Kershaw Livewire on Amazon, and all they have left is Ned. Oh, man. They didn't have the Livewire on Amazon? Really? See what happens if I just search Kershaw. You're exactly right. That sucks. They're out there, but you have to go to some of the other suspects. Stephen Wallace, what's up? True Dude carried his Grismo Norseman. SNG looks like a Kickstarter banter. Dude, I've got a funny story that makes most people here sick. I fell in love with the Strider through Effengro's 225. I bought that knife thinking it was going to be shitty, loved it, ended up buying a ProTech PT207, then trading for the SNG, and then buying the Strider because I just love the design. Ron Crow is flipping his Kubey Supercell and his Kubey Talia. Nice. Good evening, Snot Rag. Good to see you, brother. Very good knife company. I hope your ears were burning, buddy. We were talking about your beautiful knives. We had Aries EDC had your, not the mosquito, I forget. He had 2 of your knives that he was showing. And my buddy bought another one of your knives today, the Falcon, that I'm going to get to review. Welcome, welcome. Glad you stopped through. And guys, I will make sure I drop in some links for Very Good Knife Company, because their YouTube channel is fantastic if you want to see stuff get done. Their knives are, no offense to any of my other buddies who make knives, are as fine as any I've seen. And the styles are to die for. Edgy, let me send you a link, buddy. We could do that. Hold on a second. Let me send you a link. Go. All right. All right. Sorry, guys. I got behind on your reads. He send this to our. Uh-oh. Copy. Send. Shane, only if you want to come on, buddy. If you can't come on, we'll do it Tuesday or something. Love your stuff, dude. I mean, again, you're let me find your YouTube channel, because that's where I sit and creep and watch you finish handles and grind blades. Boom. Guys, if you're not subscribed, well, you probably are, go subscribe. I'm going to repin this in the comments. What's up, Aunt? Go subscribe to Brother Jacob at Very Good Knife Company. I will. Can it? Whoops. In the comments, you wouldn't believe the different variety of knives he has in terms of blade shapes used for different things, which I think is really, really cool. And my favorite, he makes a Tradition Junior that is just mwah, chef's kiss. And the Tradition and the Hawk, all the ones I've experienced. And the Falcon will be coming in next week sometime, I'm imagining. Thanks, Maroney. He goes live almost every day from his shop, and you can really see him do some of the things that he does. One of the most fascinating things for me to watch is him make his Kydex sheaths and how he adjusts them and fits some things that I'd have no business or understanding on how to do. Very cool stuff. And Angie, I need to send you a another payment. We need to talk after this live. Ah, I got you, dude. And are they out forever, or they just not carry them? I didn't see that they. Kershaw. And I know it's not an automatic thing. Because they carry automatics. I like the live wire. I just have more. I have, I think, 4 out the fronts, and I don't need that many out the fronts, in all truth. I just really don't. Let's see what we got here. They sure don't have them. They've got some launches. They've got fake ZT or fake Riots. I guess you'd call them counterfeits. They got all kinds of weird stuff. Amazon is I mean, I used to, as a matter of fact, I had a company reach out to me from Amazon, and I unboxed this knife yesterday, and I've got to review it. And you notice anything odd about this knife? I'm not saying bad, I'm just saying odd. So you've got this forward finger choil. And with that forward finger choil, you almost have to use it or your material gets caught right there. But it just doesn't feel right to me. But it's a pretty nice knife for $25. D2 full tank construction, G10. Nice sheath. But I can't make it comfortable in my hand. Scotch. Guys, let me send it to you too. I guess Shane's not coming in. We're about to have to get out of here anyway. For Maddie. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? I've been slack with links today. Guys, I don't know if I said it earlier. Y'all might not know. I spent all day. I was up at my dad's yesterday, or I actually saw it probably Wednesday. He had a tree. He lives in a neighborhood, and he's got a house, and right next to us, another big house. And one of these trees, a storm had made it blow over right next to another tree that was sitting right by it. So it was kind of holding it from falling all the way over on this house. So I had to scramble and get a tree guy up there. Yesterday, he met me. He was able to take it down today. So I've been up there waiting for the stumps to get ground so I can get money, cash app from where my brother is. And it's just been a freaking nightmare. But it got done. That's why I've been slacker than normal in getting out links to the people that usually get links. So I apologize for that. Not intentional. By any stretch of the imagination, is it intentional? Not at all. Not at all. Maddie at on for another 45. My PC won't boot up. We'll do it Tuesday, Edgy. I still want to talk to you because I do need to get you some Kazash. So if we don't talk tonight, let's talk tomorrow, buddy. And I'll send you another payment on that other one. Yeah, it's we'll go for another 30 minutes, about make it 3 hours. That way everybody will have time to pee and to go get something to eat or do whatever they do in between lives. And then we'll go on said faction and hang out there. Yeah. So the only other new stuff I have is not with me. So I'm gonna have to walk across the room and get it because one of them is worth showing off. Let me do this for be right back. Whoops. Let me get my heads back in, guys. Anyway, so that was my attempt at a sound effect, and that probably made you guys all look at each other and want to just scream. How do you feel? How do you feel? Does it make you feel? What's up, Saber Grip Knives? No doubt. Now, some of the older launches, like they were OEM by ProTech up until the launch 16. Dude, there's no telling, Ant. I don't have anything different, nothing on the ads. But when I go to share videos, I'm getting served them too. So you're not getting singled out for special treatment. I promise you that. Most carried. Are they? See, I don't see them through StreamYard, but I'm not. Still shows starting soon. Let me go to that. Go edit. Is it sharing? For there to be an ad. Now, there are ads, I know, when you come into the stream. But there's some way, because I've got them set to manually, that's ad automators off. So I think I have to go insert an ad. And that just inserted an ad. I'm sorry, I was just doing that to test y'all. So some of y'all will get served an ad now. But you shouldn't. Yeah, YouTube is becoming borderline unbearable because I just served one showing you that that's the only way that I have control over it. And I never do that. But what I was going to show you guys, this is a basic bitch knife. Very similar to a Kaiser drop bear, very similar to a bug out, similar to a Vostede, similar to name your bar shaped lock, bar style lock here. The difference in this one is this is a company called GeoKnife. They're new. I reached out to them. They sent me this for free. It is 2 pieces of titanium with a kind of a rock pattern or a milled pattern. It's got this stuff that looks like Damascus around the collar, but it's called something weird. It's called something camo carbon inlay. I don't know what it means, but it's M390. It's on washers. It's not on bearings, which I like. So it's very solid feeling. And it comes in at like 125. So my Kaiser drop bear in aluminum and 154 was right around 108. And then my Vostede Parallel, which is totally different because it's a thin knife, was 149. And then when I just look at the materials, they say that this M390 heat treats at 60 to 62 is what the HRC comes out to. But as much as I'm not a huge fan of a bar lock for action, this one is very snappy. And I think all of us will agree that bar locks are very stable locks. They're safe. It's off. Maddie, I never, ever turn off monetization. I have the ads automator off. If I turn off monetization, I don't get ads before or after when people replay it. And just in full transparency, let me show you guys how little we are talking about. Is it sharing that? Let's stop sharing. And let's start sharing this. And let's share this. Go to lives. I've already got limited ads because I did some. Watch this. This is what they call copyright infringement. Request review. I'll wait till after. See, so I'm not getting monetized anyway, people. YouTube's just serving ads. But what I was going to show you is if you look at the analytics for any of my live streams, that one made $5.91. So if you think I'm getting rich off it, fuck off. If you got an OnlyFans ad, it was absolutely targeted to you. Anything that gets served to you, because I work in the ad tech business, is because you click on that shit. They only bid on you as a user based on what you like, right? That's why we don't get ads for things that we aren't interested in. But no, I'm not serving ads. But I will throw some jams up. Where are my jams? Not much choice for creators. I mean, believe it or not, YouTube doesn't care what we think is much. Our only choice is not to use the platform. And I'm streaming. I always cross stream to Rumble, but nobody's there. Let's see, we probably have 3 people watching over there. And I just do it so that my videos live there, because like y'all just saw the one from tonight, there's something they don't like about it. And I'll go into that and contest it, because if they say, usually it's a copyright thing. Matter of fact, review request. I confirm that it does. Maybe it's because I said YouTube's terms of service. They are, Ant, and what they want you to do, hey, freedom fighter, yo, from over and hanging out over in Rumble Land. Glad you came over, buddy. Good to see you. Yeah, and they don't unfortunately care about it. YouTube, because for a while I did it for free for 30 days. I used the YouTube Premium. That's like $7.99 because I watch YouTube. That's where I consume my content. Not knife content as much, but that's where I consume content. And I love not having ads. And like when I go to share a video here, it always inevitably shows an ad. So that kind of sucks. But what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? They're going to get theirs. And I'm surprised that didn't say copyright. Your review suitable for most advertisers. Yeah. I've had one video in 119 that was not suitable because there were too many bad words dropped in it. And we hadn't had any bad words. But you never know, because sometimes they'll just say it doesn't pass our test for whatever. They don't like you to talk about the weirdest stuff. But the good news is you got to play by their rules. It's their sandbox. And it never will, though, because they're alphabet. They're YouTube, Google, the user base is too large. It's one of those that there are too many layers for them to feel it. They can lose all of us, and they could choose, which they have kind of selectively, to get rid of knife channels because they don't think it fits their political agenda. They could, and they'd still be fine. I mean, they're so many millions and millions and millions of views. Cheetah, I've never had that issue, but I was at summer camp between the summers of 5th and 6th grade. It was my first time away from home. And I woke up one morning in my little bunk, and I reached down to my bald balls because I didn't have hair yet, and I felt a lump on there. And I freaked the fuck out. I went to the little bathroom that was like an outhouse, not an outhouse. It was like a camp bathroom, and looked, and there was a tick firmly sucking on my nuts. And I didn't know what to do. I panicked. I went to my counselor. He came in there. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning with a fucking match and zapped it. And it dropped me. But I'll never forget that. And that was the summer between 5th and 6th grade. So I would say go at it with very, very, very gingerly. Go at it just carefully. No, it's not, Ant. And there are a lot of people, but even like Netflix, I've got a subscription there for my daughter. She's the only one that watches it up in Tennessee. I don't watch Netflix. But I'm getting emails that they're getting ready to show ads on lower tiered plans. So I can drop like $10 or $15 off my bill if I'll accept ads. So it's just one thing for the other. Has anyone else Facebook told you need to invite a member to get an account? No, but I can invite you. Wow. How do you get in so many? He must not have known they were there because you don't feel them, dude. That's the whole thing. I mean, I would feel them crawling on me. I would think, yeah, that would freak me out because I just had one man and he was engorged. He was right on my little bald nut, and it was just freaked me the fuck out. I didn't know what I was going to do. And he came in there and was like, we can take care of this. There you go. Yeah, because they're everywhere. I mean, I get them when I cut the grass. There's this like low hanging weird pine tree that I go under. And like a couple days later, I'll find it like they can scurry around you and you not feel them and get locked on. I remember at Blade Show in 2022, I thought I had a mole on my side and it was dark. And I went out there and I was like, damn, my mole's getting bigger. And I got worried and I went in the bathroom and it looked just like a mole until I flipped it and I could see its legs. And there's a trick that I learned. You can tickle their ass, like where they attach to you, their head is in your skin. So you can take your finger and just slightly rub it, or a pencil, slightly rub it on their ass, and they will back their head out. That's old school, dude. I never use my Facebook, but it's tied to Instagram. It's all the same. So Instagram and Facebook are all Meta, and then Google, Yahoo or YouTube, people think is a video platform. It's in actuality the third largest search engine on the planet. So Google gets the most searches, then Bing, then YouTube, where people are searching for actual shit. It does, because you think about it. If somebody tickles my ass, I'm going to look up. I ain't sticking around for that shit. That's a little too hard for me. Way too hard. I take it much easier than that. I need it to be easier than that. I'll tell you, it is after trying to search for things on Instagram, like just a user that I want to find, do I know that I'm following? There's a lot to be said for YouTube's search function. Because, for example, some of my old videos get views from Google, from people searching on Google. Because if you search anything, like if we go to Google and we search for any knife, we'll search for, let's search for one that's been around. Let's go Kubey Sumo. So that's not a good example. Let's go Kubey Sumo knife. So the top reviews or the top returns, even before Kubey's nice page, are videos. So these are all people that have reviewed the Kubey. Notice those YouTube videos show up before the regular videos show up, or the regular listings. Like you have to go all the way through the videos. Whoops. I don't want to go to Facebook. Facebook's videos. You can go to all, and it still shows the videos at top. Then the Kubey, then White Mountain Knives, Atlantic City Knives. I don't do business with these people, even though that's a good deal. They jacked around with me once. I won't deal with them anymore. That is a good deal on that knife, though. Knife Country's got it for $216 too. Out of stock, out of stock, out of stock, out of stock, out of mine. Yeah, YouTube is not as bad as others for searching for stuff, and they have to protect their users. And a lot of times, it's just filters that pick stuff up. You can appeal it, and sometimes it'll get overturned. Sometimes it won't. But we always, like I say, the worst that's going to happen is I'll lose $5 or $6. Big deal. I don't do it for the money. Hey, get a membership. Hit the like button. Share it out. Guys, look out for each other. We've been here about 3 hours. I'm going to grab something to eat. Get ready for a little said faction in about 45 minutes. Think I might run to the border. But do me a favor and look out for each other. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. Any of you guys that are channel members, stop by tomorrow at 11 or 11:15. So we'll be out of there by 11:45. It'll be worth it. Promise you that. Always something cool. I love each and every one of you. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks, Scott, for hanging. Kyle, feel better soon. I love y'all. Listen to the music. Peace.
Yeah, Murray, got the world in a spin. Blades in my hand, got the world in a spin. Javon's knife flicks, let the show begin. Every move sharp like the edge I hold. Stories untold, sharper than gold. Flick life, twist life, every frame tight. Knives on the screen, cutting through the night. Subscribers piling up like stacks on stacks. Javon's in the zone, ain't no turning back. Clicks and views, yeah, they fly like sparks. Knives in the dark, carving